Chapter 437. Who cares about your stupid thing? Keep it for yourself. Yusha said in disdain. Yun Jioga wanted to reach out to take it, but to not embarrass Yusha, he silently retracted his hand. She doesn't care about it. Don't try to please her, Lung Hui said in a strange tone. Big brother. Lung Bai was really angry now. They were the ones asking Yun Jioga for help. What good would it do to offend them like this? Lung Hui stopped talking after being reprimanded by his second brother. He stayed by Lung Mo's side and stared blankly at the blood-red cocoon in the air every now and then. Yusha ignored him. The most important thing now was to help the lady goddess get rid of the poison. Let's begin. Zishang gave Yusha a look. Yusha then directed the little black devil fire to fly towards the blood-red cocoon in the air. Yun Jioga looked at the little black devil fire nervously. The blood-red cocoon sensed danger and began to throb. The black tubes immediately spread out and danced wildly in an attempt to put out the devil fire. The devil fire nimbly dodged the tube's attack and successfully reached the blood-red cocoon. It stuck to the cocoon and burst into flames. The black tubes began to burn from their roots. Soon, they turned into ashes and dissipated in the air. A childlike shrill cry came from the cocoon. Invisible sound waves spread out, bringing with them an enormous pressure. Yusha's face was pale. She silently swallowed a mouthful of black blood. The demonic fetus's damage rebound was truly terrifying. She looked fine on the surface, but her insides had been burned black. This time, she was really going to be sent back. Yun Jioga did not know that Yusha was injured. When she saw that the black tubes were burned, she immediately tore a small hole in her clothes around her belly button. Then she bit her finger and drew a circular rune pattern on it. The demonic fetus was at its most violent after losing its nourishment. When it smelled a scent that was sweeter than the blood it had drunk before, it immediately swayed in excitement. Yun Jioga looked at the blood-red cocoon swaying left and right. It would be a lie to say that she was not nervous. However, at this critical moment, it was impossible for her to back down. She could only persevere to the end. Don't be afraid. Zishang put his arm around Yun Jioga's shoulder and stood next to her. The blood-red cocoon noticed that there was also a disgusting smell beside the delicious food. It began to feel restless, wanting to go over but not daring to. It swayed left and right, hesitating. Lung Hui had been staring at the blood-red cocoon. When he saw this, he quickly asked, "Miss Yun, what's going on with this blood-red cocoon? How do you plan to subdue the devilish fetus?" "Don't ask what you shouldn't. If you continue to spout nonsense, get lost." Zishang looked at Lung Hui as though he was looking at a hopping grasshopper. Lung Hui's heart raced. He was very afraid of Zishang, but when he thought about how the demonic embryo, which originally belonged to the Lung clan, was about to be taken away, he couldn't help but feel jealous and resentful. "Big brother, just speak less," Lung Bai urged anxiously. This high platform was their last line of defense. If they were really kicked down by Zishang, they would instantly be torn into pieces by those white-skinned corpses who were eyeing them covetously. Lung Hui reluctantly shut his mouth, but his eyes kept moving back and forth between the blood-red cocoon and Yun Jioga's body. Yun Jioga didn't have the time to bother with him. Jade Thug, on the other hand, quietly moved closer to Lung Hui, increasing the surveillance on him. The blood-red cocoon was still hesitating. It took a few steps closer to Yun Jioga, then retreated. It was so frustrated that it was about to explode. What's this devilish fetus doing? Yun Jioga was getting impatient from waiting. This devilish fetus was too long-winded. He might as well give it a quick death. With this Buddhist pestle here, it won't dare to come over, Jade Thug said gloatingly. The devilish fetus was the most sensitive to danger. Even though Zishang had restrained his killing intent, he still scared it. "Get out of the way." Yun Jioga pushed Zishang back unceremoniously. Zishang silently retreated a little. When the blood-red cocoon saw Zishang retreating, it immediately followed suit. Zishang stopped moving, and the cocoon stopped moving as well. "Tiske, what a clever little fellow." Jade Thug clicked his tongue in wonder. When the devilish fetus had just been formed, it only had a murderous nature. This one before him was very intelligent. It was qualified to be the lady goddess subordinate. You'd better get out of the way. Yun Jioga looked at Zishang helplessly. At this rate, they wouldn't be able to deal with this devilish fetus before dawn. They didn't have much time left. Zishang's expression was as dark as still water. He moved and floated away from the high platform. His figure gradually disappeared, and he was nowhere to be found. Hey, I'm just asking you to get out of the way. I'm not asking you to just leave. Yun Jioga looked around anxiously, but she didn't see Zishang anywhere. However, when the blood-red cocoon realized that the person it was afraid of had disappeared, it immediately rushed towards Yun Jioga, this delicious food, excitedly. Yun Jioga's entire body tensed up as she stared at the blood-red cocoon that was rushing towards her. She could even see the blurry face of a baby inside the cocoon, smiling at her. According to Zishang's plan, she would draw the spirit-transferring talisman on her belly button. The devilish fetus would definitely fall for it and absorb the 9 heavenly bone fragments as if they were spirit blood. Unexpectedly, this devilish fetus did not play by the rules. It actually bit Yun Jioga's left arm. Ow wow! Yun Jioga let out a blood-curdling scream. She felt all the blood in her body flowing back towards her wound. Her face instantly turned deathly pale. Her legs went limp and she fell to the ground on her butt. The blood-red cocoon instantly turned black and red. The throbbing inside was getting more and more intense as if something was trying to get out. Jioga! Yusha shouted anxiously. She wanted to rush forward to save Yun Jioga. Don't come over. Yun Jioga's face was pale as she forcefully squeezed out these words. How are you? How are you? Yusha circled around Yun Jioga. She was so nervous that her pretty face was ashen. Yun Jioga did not have the strength nor energy to answer Yusha's question. She was using all her strength to communicate with that little brat. Are you sure the grass soul seed is inside that devilish fetus? I'm absolutely sure. Moreover, that grass soul seed has already merged with the primary soul of the devilish fetus. If you work a little harder, you'll be able to awaken it. The little brat was so excited that he was about to fly. Previously, he had cultivated the grass soul seed with the intention of accepting a flying corpse as a subordinate for his master. He did not expect the grass soul seed to be so hardworking that it would accept a devilish fetus as a subordinate for his master. That was a devilish fetus. It was the leader of all evil beings in heaven and earth. It was something that could only be chanced upon. If I work a little harder, I'm going to die. Yun Jioga was dizzy. She exhaled more than she inhaled. She could clearly feel that her life force was disappearing as the devilish fetus devoured her. Fortunately, the poison from the 9 layers bone shatter had also flowed out of her body along with her blood. If I die, so be it. I still have the soul returning wood anyway. As Yun Jioga thought about this, she slowly closed her eyes. Her weak and powerless body fell backward. Chapter 438. Yun Jioga felt like she was going to die. Her thoughts gradually drifted away. Suddenly, a gentle voice called out to her, "Goddess, the candidate for godly husband is already waiting in the main hall. Would you like to go and take a look?" Divine husband? What the hell was that? Yun Jioga opened her eyes and found that the blood cocoon was gone. The tower was gone too. In its place was a grand palace. She was reclining on a soft couch made of spirit jade. She wore a gorgeous robe made of phoenix feathers, and the South Pole star on it reflected a gentle light. The one who called out to her was a tall and handsome man with curved horns like a sheep. His black hair was curled like seaweed, and his long and narrow eyes were pitch black. His lips were rather sexy, and he wore black armor. His palms were covered in black scales. Huh? Wasn't this Wansha's real body? She saw it in the maze. Yun Jioga was about to ask Wansha what was going on, but she couldn't help but say, "I know. Let's go take a look." She then stood up and walked forward, with Wansha following by her side loyally. There were 2 rows of handsome men standing in the white jade hall. Each of them had their own merits, but they were all extremely outstanding. The man at the front was tall and slender. His black hair was like crow feathers, and his face was as white as jade. There was a 7-inch purple horn on his head that reflected a mysterious light. His purple eyes were extremely demonic, and his petal-like lips were like a blooming mandala flower. Beautiful, powerful, and terrifying. Even a demon emperor couldn't compare to him. It was Zishang. Yun Jioge saw Zishang and got excited. "Why you here? Tell me, what the hell is this place?" Unfortunately, Zishang couldn't hear her. His demonic purple eyes were staring at her passionately. Yun Jioge had known Zishang for so many years, but this was the first time she saw him with such a lively expression. "What's your name?" Yun Jioge's cold voice sounded in the hall. "I'm Zishang." Zishang smiled elegantly. His eyes flashed with admiration, infatuation, possession, and conquest. He was charming and full of life. "You're the one." Yun Jioge reached out a white finger, and a powerful golden spirit light landed on Zishang. This was the memory of her previous life. Yun Jioge suddenly came to a realization. He didn't expect to obtain it in such a way. She had always been curious about her past life, and now was the perfect opportunity to understand just how much of a scumbag she was in her past life. Yun Jioge began to look through her memories seriously. The memories seemed to have sensed her feelings and started to replay them from the beginning. In his previous life, Yun Jioge was a daughter of divine blood. Not only did she have divine power and the ability to predict the future, she had also inherited the wealth and power of the divine palace. She was the most powerful and noble woman on the continent. When she reached the age of mating, the major races began to compete fiercely, sending the strongest and most charming men to the divine palace for her to choose from. Yun Jioge took a liking to Zishang at first glance, and that night, they rolled in the sheets. Not only was Zishang powerful, but he was also talented in that aspect. He was very compatible with Yun Jioge, so it was only natural that he would become her fiancé. Just as the divine palace began to prepare for their wedding, Yun Jioge suddenly discovered that a great calamity was about to descend. Only the Son of Life could stop this calamity. Yun Jioge had deduced that her child was the child of life. In order to conceive the child of life, Yun Jioge began to crazily mate with Zishang. Unfortunately, she had no success. She believed that Zishang was not lucky enough to be the father of the child of life, so she opened a harem and chose the strongest warriors from the major races. She found many lovers to try, and even pushed down her own bodyguard, Wan Sha. Unfortunately, no matter how hard she tried, she still failed to conceive the child of life. The calamity soon arrived. The sky above the divine palace was filled with blood clouds, and heaven and earth roared. A hole actually appeared in the sky. In order to delay the arrival of the calamity, she could only use her body to mend the sky. Moreover, after sacrificing her body, her soul had to enter the cycle of reincarnation to find a way to stop the calamity. Yun Jioge had not been called the goddess by her believers for so many years for nothing. At the critical moment, she flew up and used her body to mend the sky, and her soul entered the cycle of reincarnation. However, when her soul was reincarnating, something went wrong. In the end, she ran to a different space-time and became the ruthless chief secret agent who was proficient in both medicine and poison. It was only when the Yi clan's first wife-daughter died tragically in the 10,000 feet abyss that her soul returned to the Azure Waves continent. Then she met Zishang, who had waited for her for 1,000 years. After that, she began a journey of torturing love. "Jioge, Jioge?" Zishang's anxious voice sounded far and near, as if it came from 1,000 years in the future. Yun Jioge wanted to respond, but she was trapped in her memories and couldn't move. "Jioge, quickly open your mouth." Zishang shouted again. Yun Jioge opened her mouth in a daze, and she felt an incomparably strange smell sliding down her throat. After she subconsciously swallowed it, her divine sense exploded, and she fell to the ground like fireworks. "Jioge, Jioge?" Zishang's voice became much clearer this time. Yun Jioge could even hear the little baby scream, "Master, please don't die. I don't want to be sealed for another 1,000 years. Shut up." Yun Jioge had a headache from the little baby's noise, and couldn't help but scold, "So noisy." "Master, it's great that you're alive, it's great." The little baby continued to scream. Yun Jioge gave up on stopping it. She opened her eyes and saw Zishang looking at her worriedly. "Are you okay?" "I'm fine." Yun Jioga murmured, and in a trance, she remembered the high-spirited and extraordinary arrogant Zishang in her memory. Originally, he should have held a wedding with her, and stand with her at the top of the divine palace to accept the worship of believers. But because of the oracle, he became a big joke in the end. "What's wrong with you? Why are you looking at me like that?" Zishang touched his face. Could it be that his face was blooming? "I just feel that I was too stupid and conceited before." Yun Jioga felt ashamed when she thought of the stupid things she did in her previous life. Just because of a vague and unfounded prediction, she wanted to be pregnant with the son of life, and even did something as stupid as opening a harem. "You were also doing it for the sake of the world in the past." Zishang's expression was sad. In his previous life, Yun Jioga had stepped on his self-esteem and pride. How could he not hate or resent her? But when he saw the catastrophe come, and Yun Jioga used her body to mend the heavens, and her soul entered the cycle of reincarnation, his heart still hurt as if it had been smashed. In the end, he gave up everything to follow her. Even if she hurt him again in this life, he would have no regrets. "In the past, I was stupid to do it for the sake of the world. In this life, I am only doing it for you," Yun Jioga said word by word. Chapter 439. Yun Jioga felt that she was an idiot in her past life. As the saying went, everyone was responsible for the rise and fall of the world. There were so many races and so many almighty beings. If there was a catastrophe, everyone would face it together. She was the only one who foolishly sacrificed herself to mend the sky. It was useless to mend the key points. The catastrophe was only delayed and not resolved. The sky would break in the future, and the catastrophe would still come. In this life, she had a broken body. Other than the amazing memories from her past life, the advantage of the god's blood was gone. It was impossible for her to use her body to mend the sky. Under such circumstances, Yun Jioga felt that it was necessary to spread the news of the catastrophe and mobilize all the forces that could be combined to fight against it. If her identity as the goddess was still useful, she was willing to be the organizer. However, she could forget about sacrificing herself. She would never let Zishang down in this life. Zishang looked at Yun Jioga blankly. In the past, the goddess was always high and mighty. Even if they slept on the same bed, it was out of reach. She was the goddess who belonged to the people of the world, not a demon like him. He had no right to monopolize her. He did not even dare to think about it. However, Yun Jioga said that she only did it for him in this life. Was he dreaming? It's not a dream. It's exactly what you think. Yun Jioga wrapped her arms around Zishang's neck and kissed him hard. This man was worth cherishing. Zishang hugged Yun Jioga tightly and kissed her back passionately. His wish of 1,000 years had come true. He was so excited that he wanted to push Yun Jioga down and have sex with her. Cough, cough, cough. The furious Yusha coughed so hard that he almost spat his saliva on the two of them. Yun Jioga then realized that she was still on the platform. Yusha's eyes were about to spit fire. Lung Hui and Lung Bai were staring at them with their mouths agape. Yun Jioga pretended to be calm and pushed Zishang away. She stood up and asked, "How's the demonic embryo?" "It's about to break out of the cocoon after sucking your blood. Try calling it," Zishang answered readily. "All right, I'll try." Yun Jioga closed her eyes and began calling the grass soul seed. Master, I'm here. I really thought I was going to be eaten by the monster. Fortunately, Master saved me." The grass soul seed's lively voice came from the blood-red cocoon. "Can you control the demon fiend embryo now?" Yun Jioga asked. Of course, the demon fetus had no consciousness to begin with. "I've completely devoured it now, so I'll be able to see you soon," the grass soul seed replied eagerly. "Then hurry up." Yun Jioga opened his eyes and saw that the blood-red cocoon was pulsing rhythmically. The baby inside was waving his little hands, trying to break out. "How is it?" Zishang asked. "Very smoothly. The demonic embryo is ours. Now we can give it a name. How about we call it Little Grass?" Yun Jioga said with a smile. "Sure." Zishang nodded. He felt that the name Xiao Chao was very appropriate for the devilish fetus. "Miss Yun, have you really subdued the devilish fetus?" Leng Hui looked at Yun Jioge excitedly. That's right. When it breaks out of the cocoon, we can go to the 9th floor and kill Cho Shan, Yun Jioge said confidently. That's great. Brother, did you hear that? Did you hear that? Leng Hui hugged Leng Bai and shouted madly. He patted Leng Bai's back. I know. Calm down, big brother. Leng Bai felt that big brother was strangling him very badly, especially when he felt a sharp pain on his back. It was as if something had pierced through his muscles and was drilling into his body. I can't calm down. Leng Hui pushed Leng Bai away and pounced towards Yun Jioge at lightning speed. Yusha had been paying attention to Leng Hui's movements. She immediately stretched out her hand and tied Leng Hui up with a black rope. Cho Shan, stop hiding. Come out. What do you mean? Leng Bai asked in shock. Idiot, you don't even understand. Cho Shan has been hiding on Leng Hui's body. He wasn't repelled at all. Yusha looked at Leng Bai with pity. That's impossible. Leng Bai did not believe it. Big brother was familiar with the scent along the way. So you've already noticed? Leng Hui's eyes instantly turned red. His voice turned sinister as well. I've spent a lot of effort to cultivate the devilish fetus. I won't allow you to take it away. As soon as he finished speaking, a raging murderous aura exploded from his body. He broke free from the rope and turned into a ferocious black tiger that pounced towards Yusha. Yusha's cultivation base had dropped greatly after using the demonic fire earlier. There was no way she could defend herself against this murderous aura attack. She quickly shouted, Zishang, save me. Although Zishang did not want to save her, he did not want Yun Jioge to think that he was ruthless. He could only float towards Yusha unwillingly. He struck a spiritual light and destroyed the ferocious black tiger. After the tiger disappeared, more murderous aura descended from the top of the tower. They turned into countless black clouds and surged towards Zishang. However, Zishang blocked them all. The battle between the two was so intense that the entire tower was shaking. Yun Jioge did not care about Zishang and Cho Shan's battle. She stared intently at the grass soul seed struggling in the blood-red cocoon, wondering if she should lend it a hand. However, breaking out of the cocoon was an important test for any living being. She would only cause more trouble if she tried to help. She decided to watch first. Miss Yun, can you think of a way to save my big brother? Leng Bai came to Yun Jioge's side. His face was so pale that it seemed transparent. His voice was filled with pleading. I can't guarantee that. Let's wait until they're done fighting. Yun Jioge shook her head. Previously, they had tried so hard to help Leng Hui break free from Cho Shan's control. However, they failed in the end. This meant that Leng Hui's soul was not strong enough. It was even weaker than the Grand Preceptor's. It would be difficult to save him this time. Moreover, Yun Jioge was not in the mood to care about these things. She was a woman who wanted to save the world. She had to leave this place quickly and mobilize the major clans to fight against this calamity. Miss Yun, you can even subdue the demonic embryo. You must have a way to save my big brother. Leng Bai knelt down in front of Yun Jioge and begged her. He's my only big brother. Please save him. Didn't I say? Yun Jioge did not expect Leng Bai to be so stubborn. Just as she was about to chase him away, she did not expect him to suddenly explode. A ball of black murderous aura enveloped Yun Jioge's entire body. Leng Bai grabbed Yun Jioge and flew to the top of the tower. Leng Hui, who was fighting with Zishang and the others, instantly turned into a rotten corpse. Put Jioge down. Yusha shouted angrily. She did not expect to be killed by Cho Shan. If you tell me the way to control the demonic embryo obediently, not only will I let you leave this place, I will also personally send you to the transportation formation to return to the ferocious corpse mystic realm. How about that? Leng Bai smiled. His fair, almost transparent face changed. In the end, he turned into a handsome man. Chapter 440. Cho Shan, let her go first. Yusha saw the black aura wrapped around Yun Jioge. She was so anxious that her internal organs were on fire. Let her go? Do you think I'm an idiot? Cho Shan laughed. Back then, he fought with his junior brother Cho Sen in the Fiend Corpse Mystery Land. He was injured and his body was crushed. Only his soul fell into this mystery land with thin spiritual energy. He suffered a lot to get his revenge. It took him 100 years to finally succeed. As long as he got the way to control the demonic fetus, he could take his revenge and wipe out the entire Dark Soul Mountain. Z, hurry up and think of a way to save Jyoga. Yusha glared at Zishang. If her body wasn't on the verge of collapse, she would have rushed in to save Yun Jyoga a long time ago. Don't worry. Jyoga will be fine. Zishang stared at the black aura in shock. He seemed to have smelled God's blood. You think I don't dare to kill her? Cho Shan thought Zishang was provoking him. He raised his right hand and the tower shook. The huge black aura swept over and drowned Yun Jyoga like a tide. I will count to 10. If you don't agree, I will kill her and take out her soul to interrogate slowly. Cho Shan looked at Zishang and Yusha like a cat playing with a mouse. Don't you dare. Yusha wanted to charge forward, but Zishang stopped her. Smell it carefully. Isn't this smell familiar? Zishang asked solemnly. What smell is familiar? Yusha's meridians were mostly burnt. Her senses weren't as sensitive as before. Your master's smell, Zishang said word by word. Master? Yusha was stunned. His only master was Lady Goddess. Could Lady Goddess have awakened? He calmed himself down and felt it carefully. He really did smell a scent that was extremely dignified and noble. That scent was like it was made from 10,000 years old ice. It made one's entire soul tremble. So, do you still want to charge forward? Zishang saw that Yusha had woken up and let go of her hand. No need. Yusha looked at Cho Shan with pity. Poor guy. He didn't know what kind of terrifying thing he had caught. He actually dared to threaten the Lady Goddess. He wouldn't even know how he died. Humph, deliberately mystifying things. Do you think I'll fall for it? Cho Shan did not take the conversation between Zishang and Yusha seriously at all. He decided to teach the two of them a lesson. With a wave of his hand, the black baneful aura surrounding Yun Jyoga slowly tightened. Filthy ant, who gave you the courage to provoke me? A cold and dignified voice rang out. It was like an immortal voice from the ninth heaven, reverberating throughout the entire tower. Who is it? Cho Shan had never thought that there would be a fourth person in the tower. He immediately looked around nervously. However, he discovered that Yun Jyoga, who should have been struggling in his baleful aura cage, had changed. There seemed to be a flame burning between her brows. The phoenix feather flower was as dazzling as a nirvana phoenix. Streaks of red patterns spread from her forehead down. The demonic face that had been deeply poisoned slowly faded away. Her face was as white as jade, like a snowy mountain sealed in ice for thousands of miles. Her black eyes were emotionless, like black iron that had been buried for thousands of years. The color of her lips was extremely light. It was as if she had abandoned all emotions and desires, leaving only holiness behind. Golden red light wings spread out behind her, illuminating the world with the light of God. Who are you? Cho Shan could not stop trembling. You don't deserve to know who I am. Yun Jyoga's indifferent gaze fell upon Cho Shan. He could not help but tremble. He felt like a lowly commoner. He did not deserve to raise his head to look at the goddess. He did not even deserve to grovel at her feet. Yun Jyoga flicked her finger. Cho Shan's soul flew up automatically. He looked at her with the most worshipful gaze. He opened up his soul consciousness without reservation, allowing Yun Jyoga to see. Treasure map, arcane realm, Chosen. Interesting. After Yun Jyoga finished reading, she tapped her finger lightly. Cho Shan turned into a wisp of green smoke and flew toward the grass soul seed that was still struggling in the blood-red cocoon. After the grass soul seed swallowed the devilish fetus's consciousness, its power was greatly reduced. It was extremely difficult for it to break out of the cocoon. However, it could not ask its master for help. Just as the grass soul seed's strength was getting weaker and weaker, Cho Shan's soul suddenly flew over. It turned into the purest energy and was injected into its body. The grass soul seed finally broke out of the blood-red cocoon and climbed out. Master! The grass soul seed panted heavily. It wanted to crawl toward its master but found that its little fat legs had no strength at all. Why do you look like this? Yun Jioga looked at the chubby little thing in front of her speechlessly. Its little black eyes were squeezed into two lines by the fat. Its cheeks drooped down. Even its nose could not be seen. The little fat on its body was like layers of tires. This overweight appearance did not match the legendary devil fetus that could destroy the heavens and earth. Master, don't look at me like this. When I grow up, I will be very powerful, the grass soul seed hurriedly promised. It had only swallowed the devilish fetus's consciousness. It could not completely merge with the devilish fetus's body. When it completely absorbed the devilish fetus's power, it would become its master's most powerful fighter. Master, let Xiao Chao come to the demonic tripod to accompany me, the little baby shouted impatiently. It had raised the grass soul seed. It was half its son. It had the responsibility to take care of the grass soul seed. Go in. Yun Jioga pointed lightly and Xiao Chao was absorbed into the demonic tripod. The two little fatties hugged each other and started talking affectionately. The little baby's face was full of love. He had completely immersed himself in the role of an elder. After Yun Jioga dealt with the grass soul seed, his gaze shifted and landed on Yusha. Her eyes were noble and cold. There was a sense of tension and oppression. It made people feel respect from the bottom of their hearts. Goddess! Yusha's eyes were red with excitement. She immediately knelt down on one knee and looked up at her most respected master with admiration. From today onwards, you will regain your identity as the head guard of the divine palace. I order you to go back and lead the devilish race. Prepare for the catastrophe. Yun Jioga reached out to Yusha. A dot of golden light fell into her Bai Hui acupoint. Yusha's physical body shattered into pieces, revealing Wan Sha's true soul. The goddess's lover could not hold a position in the divine palace. When Wan Sha was taken into Yun Jioga's harem, his identity as the head guard was also taken back. Now that he had regained his title, it meant that he was no longer a member of Yun Jioga's harem. Yes, your subordinate will go back and conquer the devilish race. Wan Sha's expression was calm. He was the goddess' most loyal head guard first and then her lover. The change of identity was all up to the goddess. He would obey all her orders unconditionally. Chapter 441. Zishang stood at the side and watched silently. He knew that Wan Sha was more loyal to Yun Jioga, which was why he tolerated Wan Sha staying by her side. Go do what you need to do. I will contact you when I return to the demon realm. Yun Jioga was very satisfied with Wan Sha's attitude. He was indeed her most loyal guard captain. Yes. Wan Sha bowed towards Yun Jioga once more and left without further ado. After Wan Sha left, only Yun Jioga and Zishang were left in the empty tower. Why are you looking at me like that? Yun Jioga looked at Zishang's nervous expression and smiled slyly. Do you still mean what you said just now? In this life, only he cared about such words. He believed Yun Jioga, but he didn't dare to believe Lady Goddess. Of course I do. Yun Jioga flapped her wings and landed beside Zishang. Her noble, cold, and dignified face had a funny expression. She was no different from before. Zishang wasn't used to Yun Jioga like this. He asked hesitantly, "Has your god blood recovered?" "No, I just have some in my consciousness. It's just enough to act cool," Yun Jioga answered honestly. The bit of god blood she had could crush a small shrimp like Cho Shan, but it wasn't enough to deal with powerful beings. It was even more impossible for her to use it on the sky. Then save it for the critical moment. Zishang breathed a sigh of relief. Though Yun Jioga recovering her god blood was beneficial to the world, he still preferred her like this. Don't worry, I won't pretend. There were no outsiders in the tower, so she pretended to be familiar with it. She definitely wouldn't dare to do anything outside. Her messy lovers from her previous life were still looking for her. If they knew she had lost her power, she would be screwed. One had to know that the beautiful men in her harem were very cruel. They could turn on you at any time and eat you up. Oh, what did you see with Cho Shan's soul? Zishang believed Yun Jioga knew what she was doing, so he asked another question. Cho Shan and Cho Sen are brothers. They both chased after the daughter of the Purple Cloud sect's leader, Nangong Yu, and traveled together. Later on, the three of them accidentally obtained a treasure map. They followed the treasure map and entered a mystic realm. Unfortunately, Nangong Yu's soul was lost before she could understand the situation in the secret realm. Cho Sin was cursed in order to save her, but Cho Shan escaped unscathed because he ran fast. Cho Sin wanted to return to the mystic realm to search for Nangong Yu's soul, but the treasure map disappeared automatically when they left the mystic realm. After that, the two of them split up to search. Cho Shan had just found the most important part of the treasure map when he was plotted against by Cho Sen and fell into this mystic realm. Yun Jioga told the whole story in one breath. Zi Shang was not interested in the emotional entanglement between Cho Shan, Cho Sen and Nangong Yu. He only wanted to know two questions. First, what is the secret realm on this treasure map? Second, why did Cho Sen attack your grandfather? These questions are complicated. Let's go to the 9th floor and get the treasure map first. Cho Shan was dead and the tower could collapse at any time. It was too dangerous to stay there. All right. Zi Shang pulled Yun Jioga's hand and walked towards the 9th level. Anyway, he would always be by her side, and she could talk whenever she wanted. Yun Jioga looked at the unconscious Leng Emo in the corner. If they did not move him out, he would die when the tower collapsed. Why are you still caring about him? Leng Emo was just an insignificant person in Zi Shang's eyes. The Grey Kingdom needs him, and so does Bao Er. Yun Jioga had stayed in the Grey Kingdom for a while, after all. She still hoped that this small mystic realm would become better. Then I'll send him out now. Zi Shang liked Yun Jioga, who was so kind. He was willing to put in more effort for her. Then you should be a good person to the end and cure him. If the poison in Leng Mo's body was cured, not only would he not be able to have a normal child, but he would also not live for long. All right. Cho Shan was already dead. Curing the poison in his body was a piece of cake. Zi Shang shot a purple spirit light at Leng Emo. After clearing the poison in his body, he moved him out of the tower. After sending Leng Emo away, Zi Shang brought Yun Jioga to the last floor of the tower. It was a simple and unadorned quiet room. On the left was a tea table made of red spirit wood. On it was a white tea set with blue and white flowers. On the right wall were 3 brown futons. In the corner was a white crane 9-turn top incense burning inside. The faint fragrance kept circulating in the room. The spiritual energy in the whole quiet room was very dense. The treasure map is here? Zi Shang glanced at the quiet room and did not find anything special. It's here. Yun Jioga walked in front of the incense burner. She reached out and touched the top of the white crane's head. Then she pressed down on the protrusion in the middle. The white crane's eyes slowly brightened. It opened its mouth and let out a soft cry. Then, it flapped its wings and left the incense burner, flying towards the roof. The wooden roof twisted and changed. The whole quiet room changed again. The tea table and futons all disappeared. The space became very spacious. In the middle was a huge pentagonal teleportation formation. The blood-red lines were very clear. There were medium spirit stones on each of the 5 corners. A ball of light floated above the teleportation formation. There was a brown sheepskin scroll inside. It was the last treasure map. Cho Shan is quite considerate. It was really a teleportation. Zi Shang waved his hand and took the ball of light. After checking that the treasure map was real, he said to Yun Jioga, "Let's go." Let's go. Yun Jioga and Zi Shang stood on the teleportation formation. With a flash of white light, the two of them disappeared. The 9-storied pagoda was also smashed and turned into ashes. Fiend Corpse Secret Realm. Cho Sin stood in the safe zone with a gloomy expression. He looked at the black and red sky. There were only 4 hours left until the opening of the Fiend Corpse Secret Realm. This meant that his mission had failed again. Ever since he failed to capture a flying corpse last time, he wanted to lure another flying corpse over. But for some reason, all the flying corpses had disappeared. Even the number of golden corpses had decreased. After careful calculation, he realized that the fiend chi in the Fiend Corpse Secret Realm was declining. If this continued, the Fiend Corpse Secret Realm would not be able to produce any more flying corpses in less than 100 years. When that time came, he would not even be able to find the last treasure map. Cho Sin thought of Nangong Yu, who was still lying in the forbidden area of Enemy Peak. His heart felt like it was being clenched tightly. Although he used the blood lotus to protect Nangong Yu's physical body, if he did not find her soul, it would be difficult for her to fully recover in the future. For a moment, Cho Sin really wanted to stay in the Fiend Corp's secret realm for another 100 years. Elder, senior apprentice brother Mo and the others want to ask when you will be gathering at the gathering place. Si Yue walked over and asked softly. The disciples of Joyous Union Sect and Black Fiend Sect had already gone to the gathering place to wait. Now, only the Een Corp's sect disciples were left. Tell them to pack their things. We will leave in an incense's time. Cho Sin gave up on the idea of staying. The resources here were too scarce. Moreover, he was worried about leaving Nangong Yu in the forbidden area. Si Yue heaved a sigh of relief. She was really afraid that Cho Sin would go crazy and drag the disciples to stay in the Fiend Corp's secret realm. Just as she was about to turn around and tell senior apprentice brother Mo the good news, a dot of light suddenly appeared in the black and red sky and flew towards them. Chapter 442. Si Yue stared dumbfoundedly at the growing speck of light in the sky. The person in the speck of light looked familiar. It was junior brother Yunjio. Get out of the way, get out of the way. Yunjiogu realized that she was falling too fast. If this continued, she might kill someone. Cho Sin pulled Si Yue and quickly retreated. Zi Shang, help me. Yunjiogu had lowered her cultivation to the Qi refinement stage when she left the secret realm, so she couldn't control her posture. Zi Shang immediately released a spiritual light to protect her. The two of them crashed to the ground, creating a huge crater in the safe zone. Mo Jingyuan, Jin Yanwei, Wolf Fong, Jin Chuan, Bai Lan, Yu Zian and the others who heard the commotion all ran out and surrounded the crater. Amidst the dust, Yunjiogu crawled out of the crater in a sorry state, while Zi Shang was still hidden beside him. Junior brother Yunjio, you're not dead? Wolf Fong looked at Yunjiogu with wild joy. Senior brother Wolf Fong's greeting is too special. Who would ask if someone was dead or not? Didn't you disappear in the big explosion? Bai Lan originally thought that she could explain it to her master after Yunjiogu died. She didn't expect her to appear again. I disappeared in the big explosion, but I didn't expect my luck to be so great that I actually fell into a secret realm. Yunjiogu began to bluff. There's a secret realm here? Bai Lan's eyes widened. The others also pricked up their ears. Every opening of a new secret realm meant rich resources. If they could get a share, they would be rich. That's right, there's a small secret realm in this Fiend Corp's secret realm. Yunjiogu generously admitted. Master, the secret realm that junior brother Yunjio found should belong to our sect. Jin Yanwei felt that the credit should belong to his master. We'll talk about this when we get back to the sect. Cho Sin knew that the small secret realm must be related to Cho Shan. He didn't want to ask about it in front of so many people. Master is right, let's hurry to the gathering place. Jin Yanwei nodded in agreement. Elder, junior brother Yunjio will attract attention if he goes out with us like this. Why don't we let him disguise as your Een corpse? Si Yue remembered that when they were fighting the flying corpses, the other four demonic sects saw Yunjiogu and knew that she disappeared after the flying corpses exploded. If Yunjiogu suddenly appeared, it would make them suspicious and the small secret realm would be exposed. Yu is very thoughtful. Yunjio, it's safer for you to stay by my side. Cho Sin began to think about what kind of Een corpse he could make Yunjiogu look like. There's no need to go through so much trouble. Actually, there's nothing good in that secret realm. Even if we tell them, they might not be willing to come. Yunjiogu did not want to pretend to be Cho Sin's Een corpse. Who knew if he would take advantage of this chance to make a move, he might as well just say it out loud. Corpses Yun is. By the flying and is. From the way, Chen's Shan's then he corpse, he, the corpses in the way, into, of the way, Yun Chen of the way. Jiaf the Yun. By Yun. Jiu Chen. That's it. Bai Lan didn't believe him. Every small secret realm had treasures. The secret realm in the secret realm must be special. Of course not. The ores are nothing. The most special thing is that it can change a person's constitution. Yun Jiogu knew that if he didn't tell them something, they wouldn't give up on the small secret realm. What kind of physique can it change? Everyone became excited when they heard this. Haven't you noticed my change? Yun Jiogu blinked and put her hand on her chest. In order to transition back to her original identity, while retaining her original corpse poison appearance, her body had already turned back into a woman's body. Junior brother Yun Jio? Wolf Fong noticed that Yun Jioji's body had become more graceful. She had curves, it was clearly a woman's body. That's right. The secret of the small secret realm is that it can turn men into women and women into men. Yun Jiogu revealed a sweet smile. Turning into a woman means castrating yourself? Bai Lan blurted out. Of course not, I'm a woman through and through now. Yun Jiogu swept his long hair behind his ear and narrowed his eyes at Bai Lan as he said, Senior sister Bai, although I have a good temper, my Een corpse has a violent temper. If you keep talking nonsense, I can't guarantee what will happen. Bai Lan instantly felt a chill on her neck. It was like she was being stared at by a fierce beast. Thinking of the 1,000-year-old living corpse, she immediately suppressed the thought of checking Yun Jioji's body. She forced a smile and said, Junior brother Yun Jio, I was just too surprised. I didn't mean to offend you. You should be magnanimous, don't lower yourself to my level. Yun Jiogu was too lazy to care about her. He turned to Cho Sen and said, Elder, the small secret realm is like this. If anyone doesn't believe me, they can try. But I can't guarantee that they will successfully fall into that place. You didn't make landmarks when you came out? Cho Sen had a serious face. He had a completely professional look on his face. Elder really thinks too highly of me. I'm just a chi condensation disciple that hasn't even seen landmarks before. How could I make such a high-class thing? Making landmarks was a skill that only golden core stage cultivators could learn. The materials needed to make landmarks were terrifying. Only the sect could provide them. In the end, the secret realm would belong to the sect. We'll talk about this when we get back to the sect. For safety's sake, you should pretend to be my Een corpse and stay by my side. Cho Sen wasn't interested in the small secret realm. He took out a black cloak and gave it to Yun Jiogu. Just put it on. This cloak is a high-grade shielding device. There's nothing done to it. Put it on. Zi Shang's voice came over. Disciple understands. Yun Jiogu put on the cloak and followed beside Cho Sr. Let's go to the gathering place. Cho Sen took out his bat bone spur and brought Yun Jiogu to the gathering place. Si Yue, Bai Lan, Wolf Fong and the others followed behind them. After flying for around 2 incense sticks of time, they arrived at the gathering place. At this time, the other 4 demon sects had already gathered. Een Corpse Sects Mo Jinyuan, Joyful Union Sects Feng Ling Air, Thousand Ghosts Sects Gui Ming, Soul Devouring Sects Qian Hun, and Black Fiend Sects Li Kuan and Jing Wei were all standing. Compared to Een Corpse Sects' complete disciples, the 4 demon sects were missing a lot of people. When they saw them come over, their expressions were very ugly. If Cho Sen hadn't forced them to fight against the demonic corpse tide, they definitely wouldn't have lost so many people while hiding in the safe zone. Chapter 443. The He Huan sects Feng Ling Air and the spirit-devouring sects Thousand Spirits saw Cho Sen come over and thought about it before bowing to him. When the 2 of them saw the cloaked person behind Cho Sen, they were a bit confused. Could this black-cloaked person be a life source Een corpse? The 10,000 Ghosts sects Gui Ming and the Black Fiend sects Li Kuan also misunderstood and were very angry. If Elder Cho Sen brought a life source Een corpse in, then why didn't he summon it when they fought against the demon corpse tide, causing them to lose so many disciples? Cho Sen ignored the angry gazes of the elite disciples of the 4 sections. Right now he just wanted to bring Yun Jiogu back to Enemy Mountain and ask about the matter with Enemy Mountain. Yun Jiogu stood there in boredom for a while and suddenly found that she had forgotten a very important matter. Everyone needs to hand over 10,000 infernal beads to leave the demon corpse secret realm. I don't have a single one, what should I do? Yun Jiogu asked Zishang. Was there enough time to kill the demon corpses? Cho Sen will be happy to help you solve this problem. It would be a waste not to use a helper that was delivered to his door. That's right. Yun Jyoga sent a sound transmission to Cho Sr. I have them here. Not to mention 10,000 infernal beads. Cho Sen could even get 100,000. Many thanks, Elder. Yun Jyoga waited for the secret realm to open without any pressure. Not long after, the dark red sky of the demon corpse secret realm began to roil. An invisible large palm tore through the sky and grabbed at them. Yun Jyoga felt this pressure, and the remnant god blood in her soul became angry, like she couldn't allow herself to be offended. Zi Shang noticed her abnormality and grabbed her hand to calm her down. Don't worry, it's just an artifact to pass through the secret realm. I know. Yun Jyoga took a deep breath and then let out a breath, suppressing the restless god blood in her heart. The large hand grabbed everyone in the gathering area and passed through the clouds, finally leaving the demon corpse secret realm. I'm out. Father is finally out. Woo woo woo, I'm still alive, this is great. A few disciples of the 5 sects couldn't help roaring. The demon corpse secret realm was too oppressive and painful. Yun Jyoga looked at the blue sky and white clouds above his head. The breeze that carried the scent of grass also felt like it was a lifetime ago. Zi Shang stood quietly by Yun Jyoga's side. No matter where she was, as long as she was there, she would be his home. At this time, after the Black Fiend sect elder heard his disciples' tearful complaint, he walked towards Cho Sen with a gloomy old face. Cho Sen, you violated the rules and went to the Fiend Corpse secret realm. What is the meaning of this? It has nothing to do with you, Cho Sen retorted stiffly. It is true that you entering the secret realm has nothing to do with us, but you are using the disciples of the 4 sects as spears. You are looking down on us. The elders of the 1,000 Ghosts sect were also very dissatisfied. The soul-devouring sects Zhou Hua and the joyous union sects Peach Blossom Fairy remained silent. If I really used your disciples as spears, would they be able to bring out so many baleful pearls? Cho Sen sneered and said, I only went in to take the flying corpse's bloody evil beads. If it wasn't for your disciples begging me to save them, I wouldn't have cared about their lives. Elders, you have misunderstood. At that time, there was a change in the Fiend Corpse secret realm. Normal Fiend corpses had the cultivation of iron corpses. If it wasn't for Elder Cho Sen's appearance, I'm afraid we would have all died, Cus said sincerely. Not a single disciple of your corpse sect died. Of course, you have to say something nice. The 1,000 Ghosts sect elder said unkindly. If I don't protect my own disciples, do you think I will protect you cowards who only want to run away? If you are dissatisfied, then come find me at the corpse sect. I will accompany you anytime. Cho Sen was not afraid of these old things at all. If they really wanted to fight, the corpse sect was not to be trifled with. Brother Cho, you misunderstood. The ghost elders did not mean that. The Peach Blossom Fairy smiled sweetly and said, the Fiend Corpse secret realm is full of dangers. Anything can happen. Although many disciples died, the remaining disciples all successfully completed their missions and returned. I believe this is all because of Brother Cho. That's right. I have known Cho Sen for so many years. I believe he did not go for our disciples. There must be some misunderstanding. Zhou Hua also spoke. Qian Hun had told him that Cho Sen took care of them in the secret realm. Since you are friends with him, you will naturally speak up for him. Anyways, we won't let this matter go. Cho Sen, just you wait. The Black Fiend sect saw that the soul-devouring sect and the Union Joy sect were on Cho Sen's side. It would not be good for him and the 1,000 Ghosts sect to continue fighting, so he decided to go back to the sect and ask for an explanation from the corpse sect. The 1,000 Ghosts sect had the same idea. They called the remaining disciples onto the White Bone ship and left with the Black Fiend sect. In the blink of an eye, only the Union Joy sect, the soul-devouring sect, and the corpse sect were left. The Peach Blossom Fairy's beautiful eyes looked at the cloaked Yun Jyoga behind Cho Senator. She smiled and said, this should be Brother Chao's in corpse. I have not seen you bring it out in so many years. How about you show it to us today? After she finished speaking, a pink spirit light floated in her hand and entered Yun Jyoga's cloak. Peach Blossom, don't go too far. Cho Sun frowned and directly dispersed the pink spirit light. I was just joking. Why are you so serious? The peach blossom fairy was not embarrassed. Instead, she acted like a spoiled child. It's getting late. I still have things to do, so I will leave first. Cho Sun was not in the mood to deal with these two old friends. After he released the sex black ship, he flew up with Yun Jioga. The black ship flew in the direction of the corpse sect. Cho Sun brought Yun Jioga into the cabin and laid down a sound barrier. Then he asked coldly, "Tell me the truth. What did you see in the small secret realm?" It seems that nothing can be hidden from the elder's eyes. In fact, there was not only a black iron mine in the small secret realm, but also an evil spirit tower. There was a golden core realm cultivator called Cho Shan who captured me and wanted to escape by possessing my body. However, he was killed by my Een corpse. Then, I inexplicably became a woman. Yun Jioga told him half the truth about Cho Shan. You killed Cho Shan? Cho Sen's black eyes were very scary. Yun Jioga's heart skipped a beat. This guy couldn't be reminiscing about his brotherhood with Cho Shan, right? TSK, if she had known earlier, she would have said that Cho Shan had died in the tower and she could have gone in to collect his corpse. However, since she had already said it, it was impossible to deny it. Yun Jioga admitted it straightforwardly. That's right. I killed him. Who told him to steal my body? Good kill. Cho Sun suddenly laughed. Unfortunately, his laughter was uglier than crying. After he finished laughing, the bat spikes on his body suddenly shot out and pointed at Yun Jioga's throat. Tell me, where is the treasure map? Chapter 444. Treasure map, is Elder talking about this? Yun Jioga smiled. The purple deceased sword appeared beside her and showed her the treasure map from Cho Shan. Cho Shan's eyes lit up and he immediately reached out to grab it, but was blocked by the purple deceased sword's light. Elder, why are you in such a hurry? I have no use for this treasure map. I think we can sit down and talk about it. Yun Jioga sincerely wanted to cooperate with Cho Senator after all, he had been to the secret realm and was more experienced. What do you want to talk about? Cho Shan gloomily looked at Yun Jioga, finally not as anxious as before. I heard something interesting from Cho Shan. There was once a pair of brothers who fell in love with the same girl. Yun Jioga said as he looked at Cho Sen's face. Seeing that he was unmoved, he revealed his trump card. If the sect master knew that the girl you are hiding in the forbidden area is the daughter of the Purple Cloud Sect's sect master, I wonder what he would think. You dare threaten me? Cho Sen squinted his eyes. A little chi condensation cultivator dared to threaten him. Did she really think he was afraid of her 1,000-year-old Een corpse? Elder misunderstood. I am not threatening you. I just want to cooperate with you and go to the secret realm. Yun Jioga was not afraid of Cho Sen turning hostile. Although Cho Sen was a cold person, he was very attached to his feelings. In the beginning, Nangong Yu liked the humorous Cho Shan more, but Cho Sen always silently guarded her. After Nangong Yu's soul disappeared, he protected her body and cultivation at all costs. Yun Jioga going to the secret realm did not conflict with his goal. You want to go to the secret realm with me? Cho Sen revealed a mocking smile and said, I admit that your Een corpse is not bad, but it will be too hard to protect you there. In the beginning, the three of them were close to the late Golden Core stage. In the end, they were trapped the moment they entered the secret realm. They didn't even know what the secret realm was like. You don't need to worry about that, I have my own methods. I'm not afraid to tell you, other than Cho Shan's map, I have 2 other treasure maps. Yun Jioga took out the treasure map he got from the Thunder Country. Together with Cho Shan's map, it was a complete treasure map. Cho Sen didn't think that the treasure map he had been searching for so many years would be completed so easily. However, he did not lose his mind. Instead, he looked at Yun Jioga and said, Are you Yun Tianwei's granddaughter, Yun Jioga? Yun Jioga. It was just a difference of one word, but he had never noticed it. Elder Cho Sen is indeed a smart man. Yun Jioga did not deny it. She would return to her true form sooner or later. I didn't expect you to actually come to our Een Corpse sect. No wonder his subordinates couldn't find her in the 100,000 mountains, so she was hiding in the Een Corpse sect. Elder, let's not beat around the bush. I can give you the treasure map, but I hope that if one day my identity is exposed, you can stand here and say a few good words for me. Yun Jyoga hiding his identity in the Corpse sect was a huge taboo. If it was investigated, he would be beheaded. Fortunately, she had a clean background and was not a disciple of a righteous sect. If someone pleaded for her, she could turn a big problem into a small one and a small one into nothing. No problem. Cho Sen agreed without hesitation. He would first get the treasure map and then deal with the rest later. Yun Jyoga saw through Cho Sen's thoughts and said with a smile, Elder, before I give you the treasure map, I have something to tell you. Before Cho Shan died, he found a way to find Nangong Yu's soul. What, are you serious? Cho Sen stared at Yun Jyoga's eyes, trying to see if she was lying. Of course, how could I joke about something like this? Yun Jyoga said with a serious expression. What is it? Tell me quickly. Cho Sen even released the demon monkey Corpse this time. He looked like he would kill Yun Jyoga if she didn't tell him. Zi Shang took a step forward and silently confronted Cho Shan. It looked like a storm was brewing. Elder Cho Sen, when we get to the secret realm, I will naturally tell you the way. To show my sincerity, I will give you the treasure map first. Yun Jyoga patted Zi Shang's shoulder. Zi Shang expressionlessly raised his hand. Purple spiritual energy carried the treasure map to Cho. Senator Cho Sen looked at the two treasure maps, then at Yun Jyoga and Zi Shang. In the end, he chose to give in. You better not play any tricks. Otherwise, I will not let you go. Elder, don't worry. I am very sincere. All right, take your time to study the treasure map. I will leave first. Yun Jyoga left the cabin with Zi Shang. When did Cho Shan find a way to find Nangong Yu's soul? Zi Shang asked telepathically. There is no such thing. I lied to Cho Sr. If she didn't say that, Cho Sen would not bring her to the secret realm. He might even stab her in the back. Aren't you afraid that he will go crazy after he finds out the truth? Zi Shang felt a headache coming on. Based on Cho Sen's love for Nangong Yu, if he found out that Yun Jyoga lied to him, he might really die with them. That won't happen. I have a rough idea of what is going on with the treasure map. If I really want to help him find Nangong Yu's soul, there is still a way. Yun Jyoga was not making empty promises. There was some truth to what he said. What is going on with the treasure map and the secret realm? You can tell me now, right? Yun Jyoga was not willing to talk about it back in the tower. Now he really had to. Actually, the mystic realm where the treasure map is located is related to the upcoming catastrophe. The Yunwei Sea isn't my grandfather either. It's my former guard, Li Wei. Yun Jyoga had only discovered these secrets after obtaining the memories of his previous life. Li Wei? Why is he here? Did you choose him? Zi Shang had lived in the Divine Palace for a long time. He knew Yun Jyoga's guards very well. Wan Sha was the strongest. Li Wei was the most unknown. He was like an invisible man who did not like to talk. His divination skills are the strongest. Only he can find my reincarnation. Yun Jyoga did not choose the wrong person. Li Wei had indeed divined that Yun Jyoga would be reincarnated in the Thunder Nation's Yun Manor. That was why he had arranged everything long ago and waited for his master to reincarnate as Yun Jyoga's grandfather. Unfortunately, no matter how much he calculated, he did not predict that Yun Jyoga's reincarnation would be problematic. Yun Jyoga had gone to other places before returning. Based on his personality, even if you did not return to this body in time, he should have stayed by your side. Why would he be poisoned by Cho Sen and run away? Zi Shang was even more confused. Although Li Wei was not well known among the guards of the Divine Palace, he was able to enter the Divine Guardian Squad. His strength was not weak. Even if his cultivation was suppressed when he traveled through space, he would not be chased by a Golden Core adept. Chapter 445. We can only know the answer after we find him. Yun Jyoga believed that Li Wei must have divined something, which was why he left her. What exactly was that calamity? Zi Shang had once asked Yun Jyoga this question in her previous life, but unfortunately, Yun Jyoga didn't know much back then. I'm not sure either. Yun Jyoga shook her head helplessly and said, back then, I used my body to mend the heavens, and when my soul was about to reincarnate, I caught a glimpse of heaven's secret. However, I didn't have the time to look at it, so I could only seal it in a secret realm and let Li Wei search for my reincarnation with the map and key. That treasure map was the map you left behind. Zishang understood. It's not the original, just a copy. However, we can still find that secret realm. Cho Sen and the other two outsiders could find it, let alone the owner of the treasure map. What's the situation in that secret realm? Is there anything I need to pay attention to? Zishang saw Cho Sen's tragic end and felt that he had to make preparations early. About that, Yun Jioga scratched her face and said awkwardly, I don't really remember. Back then, I just randomly found a secret realm to seal, but I didn't really understand the situation inside. Zishang realized that it was too early for him to relax. Don't worry, we'll cross the bridge when we get there. No matter what, she was the one who personally sealed it, so she should have some intuition or something like that. In any case, Yun Jioga was quite confident in herself. Forget it, we'll talk about this in the future. Go and rest first. Zishang touched Yun Jioga's hair. She was tense every day in the Grey Nation, and she hadn't rested in a long time. Accompany me. Yun Jioga held Zishang's hand. This ship was very big, and every disciple had their own room to rest and meditate. It would take another 8 hours to return to the Een Corps sect, which was enough for them to have a good time. You really want me to accompany you? Zishang's handsome face was filled with gentleness, and his eyes were like a vast and warm ocean, as if he wanted to drown her. It couldn't be any more real. Yun Jioga used her fingers to hook Zishang's palm and blinked her eyes seductively. They really hadn't been intimate in a long time. Thinking about the scene of her fighting with Zishang in her previous life, she felt a little hot. Zishang's kung fu was really good. She hadn't seen many of his tricks yet. The poison in your body has been detoxified. This time, the tenderness was no longer a feint, but a real one. Jiao Zhong's poison has been cured, but yours hasn't. Yun Jioga hugged Zishang's neck and kissed him. This really ignited the fire. Carrying Yun Jioga, Zishang rushed into a room as fast as he could. He grabbed Wolf, who was meditating inside, and threw him out. Then he closed the door and set up various defensive barriers. The entire process took less than half an hour. Yun Jioga giggled as he lay on the bed in his room. He didn't expect Zishang to be so impatient. What's so funny? I'm a man too. Zishang picked up Yun Jioga and put him aside. Then he threw away the bedding on the bed. She didn't know where he got the red ice silk bedding from. Zishang made the bed and scattered some red spirit flowers at the side. The atmosphere of the bridal chamber immediately rushed over. Yun Jioga originally just wanted to be affectionate with Zishang, but seeing him so serious, she felt a little embarrassed. Do you want me to take a bath first? Although Yun Jioga used the dust cleansing talisman every day, she still felt that only a bath could cleanse her body. Then I'll help you wash your hair. Zishang really liked the feeling of Yun Jioga's fine black hair passing through his palm. Okay. She was happy to have someone willing to serve her. Zishang took out the black leopard pattern wooden bucket that he made for Yun Jioga and heated it with spirit water. Yun Jioga leisurely took off his clothes and entered the wooden tub. With his head facing back, he comfortably closed his eyes. Zishang helped her spread out her hair and combed it with a comb. Then he began to rub it for her. The two of them were affectionate in the room, but Wolf, who was thrown out of the door, felt very depressed. He was meditating, but he suffered such an unexpected disaster. The worst thing was that he left his storage bag inside. He wanted to go in to find it, but he didn't dare to knock. How depressing! Junior brother Wolf Fong, why are you standing here in a daze? Mo Jingyuan happened to come looking for him. Wolf Fong sighed and told him about how he was thrown out. Haha. Mo Jingyuan laughed heartily, then put his arm around Wolf Fong's shoulder and walked towards his own room. Alright, let's go sit at my place first. Junior Yunjio won't take a liking to your little things. You should call her junior sister now. Wolf Fong retorted in a small voice. Oh, right. You should call her junior sister Yunjio now. Mo Jingyuan thought of Yun Jioga's curvaceous figure, then asked Wolf Fong in a low voice. Do you really think that little secret realm can change a person's sex? What, senior brother Mo also wants to try? Wolf Fong glanced at Mo Jingyuan. Honestly speaking, Mo Jingyuan was very beautiful. He had phoenix eyes and plump lips. His fiery clothes exuded a heroic and seductive aura. If he became a woman, he would definitely be very beautiful. Wolf Fong felt that he could completely accept that kind of senior brother Mo. I'm very satisfied with my little Momo. I don't want him to disappear. Junior brother Wolf Fong, you can try. I guarantee that you'll like it too. Mo Jingyuan winked ambiguously at Wolf Fong. He liked men because he liked the feeling of conquering the same sex. If it was a woman, she would be suppressed, so what was the point? Hee, senior brother Mo really likes to joke. Wolf Fong pretended to laugh a few times. Although senior brother Mo's intentions were known to everyone, as long as he didn't agree, senior brother Mo wouldn't act recklessly, so he dared to follow him to the room. Alright, I won't joke with you anymore. Mo Jingyuan withdrew his smile and said in a serious tone, tell me the truth, what do you think about junior brother Yunjio? No, junior sister's secret realm? I think that junior sister Yunjio should have some reservations. That secret realm doesn't only have the gray iron it should also have other good things, but it shouldn't be much, otherwise she wouldn't still be in the chi condensation realm. It's a pity that the method to enter the secret realm is too dangerous. Wolf Fong was also interested in this unexplored little secret realm, but when he thought about how he had to detonate the flying corpse's bloody fiend beads to enter, he lost all interest. Yunjioga had a golden core realm 1,000-year-old Een corpse risking its life to save her, but he didn't have that kind of luck. On your right, Mo Jingyuan thought about the terrifying scene of the flying corpses exploding, and the little bit of interest he had disappeared. Although the secret realm was good, one had to be alive to enjoy it. It was better to leave it to the sect to think of a way. If the sect could really mark that little secret realm, then they would have a chance to enter it in the future. As for his master, Elder Mo Hua, he could only honestly report it to him. In any case, he didn't have the ability to kill Yunjioga. At this time, Yunjioga had already dried her body and washed her hair. Her jade body was lying on the large red bed, looking at Zi Shang affectionately. The temperature in the room continued to rise. Chapter 446. Zi Shang lowered his head and planted a kiss on Yunjioga's forehead. Small kisses slowly spread all over her body, as if he was worshipping a goddess. Yunjioga felt that Zi Shang's long black hair was as soft and silky as silk, like a feather tickling her heart. She couldn't help but kiss Zi Shang back. The two were very passionate, and the hot air was like dry firewood about to burst into flames. Yunjioga's hand slid across Zi Shang's back and reached his abdomen. His tight 8-pack was very well defined, and it felt very good. Don't rush. Zi Shang panted and blocked Yunjioga's hand that was touching his lower body. Although it wasn't the first time they touched skin to skin, it was different from before. Zi Shang wanted to be more gentle and considerate so that Yunjioga would have an unforgettable experience. I'm not rushing. Who said I was rushing? Yunjioga's eyes were like silk as she flipped over and pressed Zi Shang under her body. Her black hair flowed down like a waterfall, making her skin shine like jade. Her slender fingers drew circles on Zi Shang's strong chest and abdomen, faintly discernible and captivating. Alright, you're not rushing, I'm rushing. Zi Shang's breathing quickened, and his purple eyes darkened. His heart was itching from Yunjioga's teasing, and all gentleness and consideration were thrown to the back of his mind. He suddenly flipped over and pressed the seductive Yunjioga under his body. He bit her lips fiercely, and joined with her gently but forcefully. The spaceship flew very steadily, but Yunjioga felt like she was a small boat bobbing up and down on the sea, pushed by layer after layer of waves toward the peak. Yunjioga's body turned numb and turned into a puddle of water. She could only cling tightly to Zi Shang's body to prevent herself from falling into the sea. The moment they became one, Yunjioga felt unprecedentedly comfortable. It felt like her soul was floating in the air. Her whole body was warm, and she didn't even want to move a finger. Concentrate and consolidate your cultivation. Zi Shang was indeed Zi Shang. Even at this moment, he didn't forget to remind Yun-jyoga to cultivate. Yun-jyoga didn't need to move much. A warm spiritual power automatically started from her dantian and flowed through her organs and meridians. Back in the Grey Kingdom's mystic realm, she had already successfully built her foundation, but she hadn't had the time to consolidate her cultivation. After dual cultivating with Zishang this time, threads of golden spiritual energy slowly gathered in her dantian to form a golden high platform. A silly little golden chick was lying on it. Every feather seemed to be condensed from light. It was the embryonic form of a phoenix. Yun-jyoga's divine blood was the true blood of a phoenix. She originally thought that after her physical body was destroyed, the power of the god's blood would disappear along with it. He didn't expect that the little bit of divine power left in his soul could actually nurture the phoenix true soul. Although the current golden chick was far inferior to the phoenix in her previous life, as long as it had the true soul, it could recover its divine blood one day. Yun-jyoga excitedly told Zishang about this matter. "You're the goddess. Isn't it natural for you to recover God's blood? According to what you're saying, if I can't recover my divine blood, I won't be worthy of the title of goddess?" Yun-jyoga glared at him. Did this fellow know how to speak? Of course not. You'll always be the most honorable goddess in my heart. Zishang kissed Yun-jyoga's forehead, his purple eyes shining with sincerity. Then if I'm not the reincarnation of a goddess, you won't like me, right? Yun-jyoga began to argue. Maybe women were all fools when they fell in love. They liked to hear men say that no matter whether you were a pig or a dog, as long as it was you, they would love you to death. But you are a goddess. Zishang couldn't understand Yun-jyoga's thoughts. If she wasn't the reincarnation of a goddess, he wouldn't have waited in the lofty abyss for so many years. Forget it. I can't explain it to you. Yun-jyoga got up and put on her clothes. Although she knew it was stupid to be jealous of her, she was in a bad mood and didn't want to talk to that idiot Zishang at all. Zishang was helpless. He found that Yun-jyoga's temper was getting worse, and she was becoming more and more like a goddess. Thinking about it this way, the silly and cute Yun-jyoga was easier to please. Of course, he wouldn't dare to say this to Yun-jyoga. After Yun-jyoga finished dressing, she opened the door and was about to go out for a walk. She saw Jin Yanwei guarding the door. When Jin Yanwei saw her come out, his expression was very complicated. Although Yun-jyoga used to be a man and hooked up with her 1,000-year living corpse was very despicable. But now that she was a woman, why did it still feel so awkward? What's the matter, senior martial brother Jin? Yun-jyoga was very calm. She didn't think that there was anything wrong with hiding in her room and fooling around in broad daylight. Master wants to see you. Junior martial brother Yun? No, junior martial sister Yun, come with me. Jin Yanwei's scalp went numb. After saying the two words junior martial sister, he turned and walked towards Master Chosen's room. Yun-jyoga followed him very leisurely. Inside the room, Chosen was sitting on a wide wooden chair with his eyes closed. The body of a 5-year-old child looked very weak. Sometimes, Yun-jyoga also wondered what kind of curse was in the treasure map mystic realm. It could actually turn a male cultivator close to the late golden core stage into such a state. Master, junior martial sister Yun is here. Jin Yanwei reported respectfully. Chosen opened his eyes and had a domineering appearance. He looked at Yun-jyoga and then waved his hand at Jin Yanwei. All right, you can leave. Tell them not to speak carelessly when they return to the sect, otherwise they will have to bear the consequences. Yes, this disciple understands. Jin Yanwei bowed and then left. What did the elder call me for? Yun-jyoga politely asked. Sit. Chosen waved his hand and a mahogany stool flew behind Yun-jyoga. Yun-jyoga very reservedly sat down, quietly waiting for Chosen to speak. How is your Een corpse? Can it still fight? Chosen suddenly asked. Why does the elder ask this? Yun-jyoga raised his brows. Chosen wouldn't want to become hostile, right? The Een Corpse sect has sent news that Inkflower and Whitebones already know what happened in the Fiend Corpse mystic realm. They're just waiting for you to return to the sect. Chosen tightly knit his brows. He had fought with Inkflower and Whitebones for a long time. He knew that they only cared about profit and would do anything. Especially Inkflower, she already had a grudge against Yun Jioga's living corpse. Now that she had this new secret realm, she would definitely win over the other elders to force Yun Jioga. It's not the first time they've tried to deal with me. Yun Jioga didn't care about Elder Inkflower and Elder Whitebones at all. If they had a way to deal with him, they wouldn't have waited until today. Don't look down on Inkflower. Our Een Corps sect only has 3 elders on the surface, but there are actually several elders that are in seclusion. I've received reliable news that Inkflower has already asked Elder Hades to come out of seclusion and wants to use this chance to kill you. Chosun wasn't familiar with Elder Hades, so he couldn't help Yun Jioga even if he wanted to. Chapter 447. Is there anything special about Elder Hades? Yun Jioga hadn't been in the Een Corps sect for long, so she hadn't heard of this elder's name. There's nothing special about him. He's just very experienced and very old. Chosun revealed a sarcastic smile. Although Elder Hades was at the mid-Golden Core realm, he didn't have much longer to live. This kind of person would become hysterical when they were about to die. As long as there was a bit of hope, they would use it as their last hope. Mo Hua used this point to say that the small secret realm Yun Jioga found had a miraculous effect of changing one's physique, misleading him into thinking that there was a possibility of increasing his lifespan. Elder Hades only wanted to extend his lifespan, so he would try anything. Not to mention that the new secret realm was worth taking a look at. Then does Elder Chosun have any suggestions? Yun Jioga and Chosun formed an alliance to have a helper. Mo Hua, Whitebone, and Hades, the 3 elders will form an alliance. If your Een Corps isn't injured, then the 3 of us can fight against them. This was the reason why Chosun asked Yun Jioga if her Een Corps was good. If Yun Jioga's Een Corps was injured in the small secret realm and lost its battle strength, then he wouldn't be a match for Mo Hua and the others. At that time, he could only sacrifice Yun Jioga. You don't have to worry about this. My Een Corps is in good condition, it won't be a problem at all. Zishang wasn't just in good condition, he was extremely brave. It wouldn't be a problem for him to take on 2 people at once. Zishang seemed to hear Yun Jioga's thoughts as he reached out his hand to pull her. Yun Jioga waved her hand. She was still feeling awkward from before, so she didn't want to bother with him. Although Zishang felt hurt, he didn't dare provoke Yun Jioga anymore. Since it's like this, then go and prepare. When you get off the ship, go directly to the main hall and explain the matter of the small secret realm. Chosun decided to end this quickly. As long as the sect master agreed with Yun Jioga, then Elder Mo Hua and the others wouldn't be able to do anything. Many thanks for Elder Chosun's advice. I'll go and prepare now. Yun Jioga said her goodbyes and returned to the room with Zishang. Wolf Fong had already come in to retrieve his storage bag. Then, he tactfully gave up the house to them. How do you plan to prepare? Zishang asked seriously. I plan to prepare some talismans and formation discs that are convenient for escaping in case of any accidents. If Elder Mo Hua forced her, she did not have to stay in the Een Corps sect. I'll do it for you, Zishang said with a flattering smile. Of course you'll be the one to do it. Get more flight talismans and fog talismans. Yun Jioga would not be polite with him. All right. As long as Yun Jioga was willing to talk to him, not to mention the flight talisman and fog talisman, even the space-piercing talisman could be conjured by Zishang. While Zishang was concentrating on the talismans, Yun Jioga counted the treasures she had on her. There was only 1 demonic tripod, and the cute baby was a weapon spirit. At the moment, he had only activated farming and alchemy skills. He could not be counted on to fight. There was only 1 demonic fetus, and it was still in its infancy stage. Its combat ability was not as good as its ability to attract hatred. If the elders of the Een Corps sect saw this, they would definitely be even more determined to kill her. The little skeleton monkey was used to collect Een Chi. The flying mother goo was good at converting death Chi. The 5-colored poisonous scorpion's combat ability was not bad, but with the treasure-seeking scorpion's love for his wife, the 5-colored poisonous scorpion would probably drag him down if he let the 5-colored poisonous scorpion fight. Forget it. The set of Evil Blade. Yunjioga could use it smoothly after entering the Foundation establishment stage, but it would not be enough if she advanced to the next stage. The set of Thunderstorm Wings. Although this escape artifact was a little damaged, it was still good to use at the moment. There was also the White Bone Flame. After the poison of the 9 Bone Crusher was removed, she could use the White Bone Flame freely. It was a good trump card at crucial moments. Yunjioga checked her belongings and realized that she had too few artifacts on her. Compared to before, she was practically penniless. But then again, she did not use artifacts in the past. The body of the god's blood was her most powerful weapon. It seemed that she still had to dual cultivate with Zishang and refine the true phoenix soul in her dantian. Yunjioga glanced at Zishang, who was seriously drawing talismans. Forget it, I'm quite full today. I'll think about it next time. An hour later, Zishang passed a thick stack of talismans to Yunjioga. The flying ship had also arrived above the Een Corps sect. The patrolling disciples found traces of them and opened the protective formation, allowing the flying ship to land. Elder Chosen, the sect master has ordered you to bring junior brother Yunjio to the main hall immediately. The patrolling disciples were from the Ink Flower Peak. They surrounded the flying ship as if they were afraid that they would run away. Got it? Chosen replied expressionlessly. Then, he said to Yunjioga, who was following behind him, "Let's go." Yunjioga followed Chosen to the main hall. Along the way, she saw many disciples from the Ink Flower Peak and the White Bone Peak looking at them strangely. Elder Chosen, will Elder Ink Flower and Elder White Bone bring their disciples to fight with us? Yunjioga could not help but ask Cho Sr. If it was true, she had to make an escape plan in advance to prevent the situation from becoming too chaotic. Don't worry, they don't have the guts. Chosen shook his head. No matter how the disciples of the Ink Flower Peak and the White Bone Peak listened to them, it would not change the fact that they were Een Corps sect disciples first and foremost. As long as the sect master was there, they would not be able to do anything. Of course, if the sect master personally gave the order, then all the Een Corps sect disciples would attack them. However, thinking about how the sect master protected Yunjioga previously, Chosen believed that the sect master would not give such an order. This was also the reason why he was confident that he could bring Yunjioga back. That's good. Yunjioga saw Chosen's calm expression. Her heart was also much calmer. No matter what, she still had Zishang. At the very least, she still had God's blood. However, using God's blood in Een Corps sect was a waste. Unless it was absolutely necessary, she did not want to reveal her trump card. When Yunjioga walked into the main hall, she saw Elder Ink Flower and Elder White Bone immediately. When Elder Ink Flower saw Yunjioga, who had turned back into a woman, her seductive face immediately changed. Although there were also lesbians in the Joyous Union sect, Elder Ink Flower only loved men. When she thought about the male pet that she had her eyes on turning into a woman, she felt as though she had eaten a mouthful of sh*t. Furthermore, the sh*t was poisonous. Elder White Bone raised his eyebrows but did not say anything special. Other than Elder Ink Flower and Elder White Bone, there were 2 more cultivators in the main hall. One was an old man with a head full of white hair. He was dry and skinny and looked haggard. It was as though he already had 1 foot in the coffin. He should be Elder Hades. The other was a shifty-eyed, skinny, middle-aged man who was at the intermediate stage of the Gold Core realm. A pair of small eyes that were filled with schemes rolled around Yunjioga. Didn't they say that Elder Ink Flower only managed to invite Elder Hades? Why was there another one? Yunjioga glanced at Chosen and saw that he was staring fiercely at the shifty-eyed middle-aged man. Chosen's body was tense as though he had seen an enemy. Yunjioga had a feeling that the matter was already out of Chosen's control. This newly appeared elder was one of the variables. Chapter 448. Xiering, I didn't expect you to dare to come back. This is the perfect time to settle the score. Chosen released his demon monkey and Een ghost to surround the triangular-eyed elder. The triangular-eyed elder was called Xiering. He was in the middle stage of the Golden Core realm and loved to steal. When Chosun set up the Forbidden Land, he was tempted to sneak in and get some benefits. In the end, he did not succeed and angered Chosun completely. After he left the Een Corpse sect, he traveled around and did not dare to come back. Chosun, I haven't seen you for so many years and your temper is still so bad. However, I'm not afraid of you this time. Xiang was not afraid at all. He had 3 allies. Chosun, it's been so many years. Why are you still holding on to it? Elder Mo Hua said calmly. No matter what, we are from the same sect. Let's let bygones be bygones. Little sister Mo Hua is right. Xiang gave Elder Mo Hua a dubious look. Mo Hua, are you going to go against me for him? Chosun asked fiercely. Hee, big brother Chosun, you misunderstood. Why would I go against you? I wonder what benefits Yunjio gave you for you to help her like this? Mo Hua squinted her eyes. She did not believe that there were only some inferior ores in that small mystery realm. If that was the case, why would Chosun help her so desperately? He was not a kind-hearted person. I like her. Of course, I have to help her, Chosun said with a straight face. Pooh. Yunjioga almost spat. Chosun's excuse was too lousy. Hee, I didn't know you have such a strong taste. You like this kind of monster that is neither male nor female, neither yin nor yang. You should have said so earlier. Mo Hua covered her mouth and laughed. You are neither male nor female, neither yin nor yang. Yunjioga really wanted to get angry. Zishang held Yunjioga's hand. It was enough that he knew she was a woman. Yunjioga could only endure it. At this moment, Elder Hades, who had been silent, looked up at Yunjioga. This is Yunjio who discovered the small mystery realm, right? The pressure of a golden core attacked Yunjioga, clearly trying to intimidate her. Yes, I am. Yunjioga focused and dissolved Elder Hades's pressure. As expected, you do have some ability. Elder Hades's eyes shone brightly. How could someone who found a new mystic dimension in the Fiend Corpse mystic dimension not be capable? Xiang looked at Yunjioga maliciously. I've already informed the Grandmaster about the minor dungeon. You don't have to worry about it. Yunjio, let's go. Chosun turned around to leave. Chosun had miscalculated the situation. He did not expect Mo Hua to find Xiang. Although Xiang liked to sneak around, his cultivation was indeed not bad. They had no chance of winning against 4 of them. Chosun, the sect master isn't here yet. Why are you in such a hurry to leave? White bones and ink flowers figures flashed and blocked Chosun's path. Chosun's face was ice cold. Looking at their posture, he knew that they would not let this matter rest. The sect master had never interfered in matters of the sect, so he might not necessarily go against the other 4 grand elders for Yunjioga. Chosun quickly evaluated the situation in his heart and then sent a sound transmission to Yunjioga. The situation is not good, so you should act according to the situation. However, if you are willing to tell me how to find Nangong Yu's soul, I'll give you 6 monster monkey Een corpses to help you escape. Grand Elder, if I fall into their hands, they will definitely use the soul-searching technique on me. At that time, the matter of the treasure map and Nangong Yu will not be able to be hidden. How could 6 monster monkey Een corpses be enough? Yunjioga wanted to drag Chosun down with her. Chosun's face became even darker, but what Yunjioga said was the truth. He had to think of a way to protect her life, or at least ensure that her soul would not fall into the hands of others. Zishang, what are the chances of us escaping? Yunjioga did not place all his hopes on Cho Senator, he was just a support, Zishang was the core. These 4 people have already sealed all 4 of the main hall's doors. Inkflower's side is the weakest, so we can break through from her side. Zishang had already calculated the chances of breaking through from the moment he entered the main hall. Elder Hades is a bit weak. Elder Hades' life force was weak, so he might not even be able to use a big move. Yunjioga felt that breaking through from his side would be more reliable. If we accidentally kill him, we will have a big grudge. Escaping was one thing, but killing was another. Zishang did not want to become enemies with the Een Corpse sect, as he might be able to use them in the future. You're right. Yunjioga realized that he was still too inexperienced. Elder Hades had probably dug out this old antique from the coffin with this in mind. If he accidentally killed Elder Hades, he would be hunted down by the Corpse sect to the end of his life. Ask Cho Sen when he is preparing to break through. Zi Shang had already made his preparations. Yun Jioga sent a sound transmission to Cho Sen, telling him about his plan to start from Elder Hades. Let's wait for the sect master to come. If he does not help you, then we will start from Xie. Cho Sen still had a bit of hope for the sect master. If the sect master did not help either side, then he would take the chance to beat up Xie. Even if he accidentally killed him, it would still be reasonable. Alright. Xie was only slightly stronger than Elder Hades, and the difference between them was not huge. With Cho Sen's hatred for him, there might be unexpected benefits. Yun Jioga calmed down and began to wait for the sect master to arrive. Speaking of which, she had never seen the sect master's true appearance, and she did not know if she would have the chance to see his true appearance this last time. Are you that interested in the sect master? Zi Shang asked half-jokingly. Everyone is curious. Do you dare to say that you are not interested? If Zi Shang dared to say that, Yun Jioga would definitely beat him up. Of course I am. Zi Shang was indeed interested. He had always felt that the sect master was very similar to someone he knew. It would be best if he could take the chance today to verify his suspicions. Even Yun Jio is not in a hurry. Why are you in a hurry? Go back and sit down. Elder Hades smiled. Cho Sen snorted coldly and sat down on the wide wooden chair beside Xie Ying. Then he began to glare at him. Xie Ying's eyes darted around as he smiled at Cho Sen's angry glare. Ever since Elder Hades had displayed his prowess, he had not said anything else. Instead, he looked like he was going to die at any moment. Elder Mo Hua and Elder Whitebones simply moved a chair over and stood guard at the door. Yun Jioga randomly found a chair and sat down. She did not stand on ceremony with the few elders at all. Logically speaking, as a disciple, she did not have the right to sit with these elders. However, everyone had their own thoughts at the moment, so they did not have the time to care about Yun Jioga's crime of disrespect. After all, she would die in the end. After about 5 minutes, a gust of black chilly wind blew from outside and entered the hall like a whirlwind. It landed in front of everyone. It was the sect master of Corpse sect. Chapter 449. Greetings, sect master. Mo Hua and the others shouted in unison. Sect master responded indifferently. His face was still covered in black mist, making it impossible to see what he looked like. Sect master, Yun Jio found a small secret realm but didn't report it. He's full of nonsense. We definitely can't tolerate his behavior in case the other disciples learn from him. We must punish him. Elder Mo Hua spoke first. That's right, a small secret realm is very important. It concerns the future development of our sect. For safety, I suggest we search Yun Jio's soul. Elder Whitebones followed. I agree. Xie Ying raised his hand with a smile. I agree. Elder Hades nodded heavily. I object. Cho Sen stood up and said coldly, Yun Jio reported to the sect the moment he found a small secret realm without hiding anything. If you search her soul because of your selfish motives, will there still be disciples who will be loyal to our sect if it gets out? Cho Sen, we can resolve this matter privately. The sect disciples will only know that we have gained another small mystic realm. They won't know about things that they shouldn't know. Mo Hua had already thought of a solution a long time ago. There are so many disciples going to the Fiend Corpse secret realm. Are you going to kill them all? Cho Sen said sarcastically. They are all smart people. They know what to say and what not to say. Unless someone doesn't like our sect and wants to destroy it, Elder Mo Hua didn't give in at all. Yun Jiogu didn't say anything. As a low-rank disciple, she couldn't say anything in this situation. If Sect Master helped her, she would stay. If Sect Master didn't help her, she would leave with Zi Shang. It was that simple. Sect Master was silent. Even the black mist on his face didn't move at all. He let Cho Sen and Elder Mo Hua argue. Cho Sen insisted that Yun Jiogu had contributed to the discovery of the secret realm. Mo Hua had to search Yun Jioji's soul for the benefit of the sect. Sect Master, what do you think? Mo Hua turned to ask Sect Master. He was the most important person. I got it. The Grand Master's voice was calm, and no one could hear any emotion from it. It seemed like he wasn't going to help either side. It seemed like he had to leave Corp's sect. Yun Jioga secretly transmitted his voice to Zi Shang and Cho Sen, preparing to take action. Zi Shang began to gather his demonic power. Cho Sen approached Xie Ying without making a sound. He was waiting for the sect master to agree with Mo Hua, then they would attack together. Yun Jio is a disciple of my sect. No matter what she does, I, the sect master, should be the one to make the decision. The sect master's words stunned everyone. Sect master, what do you mean? Mo Hua did not understand. Could it be that the sect master wanted to search his soul personally? What I mean is, you guys are stretching your hands too far. The sect master's tone was fierce. A gust of black wind flew out from his shadow and turned into 4 shadows that stuck to the backs of the 4 elders, Ink Flower, White Bone, Yu Ming, and Xie Ying. His killing intent was dense, and he actually had the thought of crippling them. Cho Sen was stunned by the sudden reversal of the situation. He had thought that the sect master would at most speak up for Yun Jioga. He had not expected that the sect master would help her. This was also good. In the future, Mo Hua and the rest would have to think twice before touching Yun Jioga. Sect master, she's just an ordinary disciple. Is it worth it for you to stand up for her? Elder Mo Hua was so angry that her face was contorted. She had spent a lot of effort to invite Elder Yu Ming and Elder Xie Ying. She had thought that victory was within her grasp, but she did not expect the sect master to fall out with them for Yun Jioga. Yun Jio will be a candidate for my sect's sect master in the future. If any of you dare to touch her, it will be equivalent to declaring war on me. The sect master dropped another heavy bomb. The candidate for the sect master's peak was equivalent to the next sect master of Corp's sect. This was not a trivial position. Usually, all the elders had to be gathered to discuss before a decision could be made. Sect master, aren't you being too rash? Elder Yu Ming frowned. Although he did not have much time left, he still had the right to speak on the future direction of Corp's sect. 3 years later, I will gather the elders to discuss. The sect master's voice was filled with unquestionable dignity. The sect master had the right to decide. Usually, he would be the one to choose and train, and the elders would discuss and decide. Since he had said so, the others had no right to object. Looks like the sect master is stubborn. Elder Mo Hua looked at Yun Jioga with disgust. She had been pressuring Yun Jioga all this while. If she really became the sect master, it would not be a good thing for her. At this moment, her killing intent increased. However, she suppressed it all in her heart and did not show it like before. She always left a way out. If she could not kill Yun Jioga, it would be troublesome instead. Since the sect master has decided, I have nothing else to say. Goodbye. Elder Yu Ming stood up shakily. He did not want to get involved in these trivial matters anymore. If he could not find a way to extend his lifespan, he only wanted to live the rest of his days in peace. I still have something to do. I'll be leaving first. Xie Ying saw that the situation was not good and immediately fled. Otherwise, it would be troublesome if he was entangled by that madman, Cho Senator. Since their ally had left, Elder Mo Hua and Elder Baigu also left decisively. In the blink of an eye, Yun Jioga's crisis was resolved. She was dumbfounded. Since when did she have such a good relationship with the sect master? Chapter 450. The Almighty above said that he would meet you when the time is right. The most important thing now is to hide your identity and protect your safety. Shirley poured a cup of spirit tea and placed it in front of Yun Jioga. So you already knew my true identity? Yun Jioga pushed the spirit tea away. She didn't want to drink it at all. She really didn't like the feeling of not knowing anything while everything was under someone else's control. That's right, I already knew that you were the daughter of the Thunder Nation's Yun family, Yun Jioga. Shirley nodded and admitted. Then you pretended to be the chief of the Black Wind stronghold just to lie to us? Yun Jioga's face darkened. She really thought that Ian Shirley was a loyal person. What happened before was real. Ah Mei and Hu Zi are my wife and son. I once led a group of brothers to be the chief of the Black Wind stronghold. Later, I was betrayed by my brothers and the soldiers attacked. My son died and my wife jumped off a cliff. I fell after being slashed a dozen times. If I hadn't met an almighty who taught me a legendary corpse cultivation technique, I'm afraid you wouldn't be able to see me standing in front of you now. Ian Shirley sighed. In order to receive Yunjioge, he specially built the Black Wind stronghold in the Dabi Mountains to commemorate the past and the time when he was still human. You're a zombie? Yunjioge was shocked. She never expected Ian Shirley to be a zombie. No matter how she looked at him, he was a living person. I found a treasure 200 years ago, the heart of the tree. It can be said that I've come back to life. Ian Shirley smiled faintly. This is my biggest secret. Don't tell anyone else. Don't worry, I won't tell anyone. Yunjioge thought about how Elder Mo Hua and the others had fought with her to snatch the fake zombie, Zishang. If they knew that the sect master, Ian Shirley, was the one and only super zombie in the world, she didn't know how they would feel. Miss Yun, you and your friend can stay in the Ian Corpse sect with peace of mind. As long as I'm here, I'll definitely protect you. The meaning behind Ian Shirley's words indicated that he already knew that Zishang was a fake Ian Corpse. Thank you. Yunjioge smiled. Even though Ian Shirley had told her his big secret, she still didn't dare to fully believe it. Who knew what kind of monster the person above him was? Also, I know what happened between you and Cho Senator. When the time comes, I will go with you to search for the mystic realm with the treasure map. Ian Shirley poured Yunjioge a new cup of tea. So, you also know about Cho Shan's matter? Yunjioge realized that Ian Shirley was really hiding his strength. He felt that everything was under his control. Cho Shan and Cho Sen were originally loose cultivators. I took them in after they came out from the secret territory of the treasure map. As for the small secret territory that Cho Shan fell into, I will help you settle it, Ian Shirley said. It's that almighty expert of yours again, isn't it? Yunjioge raised her eyebrows. She had a feeling that her taking back the demonic fetus in the Grey Kingdom was also within that person's expectations. Miss Yun, you don't have to worry. That person has no ill intentions towards you. Ian Shirley paused for a moment before continuing. He even said that if you don't believe what I said, then I should recognize you as my master and become your Ian Corpse. What kind of joke is that? Do you think I have no interest in taking a rough old man like you as my Ian Corpse? Yunjioge glared. She didn't even want to take Yunji in, let alone Ian Shirley. Most importantly, Ian Shirley looked like a living person. Taking back his freedom and making him a Ian Corpse was too pitiful. It's not my fault that I'm ugly. Ian Shirley touched his face in a self-mocking manner. However, he was relieved in his heart. Ever since he obtained the Heaven-Earth spiritual heart, he felt more and more like a human being. He didn't want to return to his previous muddle-headed state. When that almighty expert revealed this to him, he even had the thought of killing Yunjioge to fight for his freedom. However, he quickly suppressed it. Everything he had was given to him by the almighty expert. It was easy for him to take it back. Later, he followed the almighty expert's instructions and went to the Dabi Mountains to pick up Yunjioge. From the first time they met, he felt that this girl wasn't ordinary. She wasn't someone who would do anything to obtain power. Now that he had confirmed this point, he was willing to follow her wholeheartedly. It's useless even if you're as beautiful as a fairy. I definitely won't take you in. It's getting late, I'll take my leave first. Yunjioge quickly got up and left, as if she was really afraid that Ian Shirley would chase after her and beg her to take him in. Ian Shirley got up to send her off. Looking at Yunjioge's hurried back, he couldn't help but laugh. What an interesting girl, right? Behind Ian Shirley stood two Ian Corpses, one big and one small. They were Ah Mei and Hu Zi. Hearing his words, the two of them nodded at the same time. They were much more intelligent than before. Why didn't you say anything earlier? After leaving Ian Shirley's cave, Yunjioge grabbed Zishang's hand and asked, Do you think there are any loopholes in what Ian Shirley said? I know who the almighty expert he was talking about is. Shang's words were shocking. You know? Who is it? Yun Jioga immediately asked. His name is Fan Yin. Back then, he was the most intelligent person in the human race. Not only was his Buddhist studies profound, his cultivation was extraordinary, and he could see the future. You valued him a lot back then. When Shang thought about what happened back then, his eyes would still be shrouded in a layer of haze. Profound Buddhist studies? Yun Jioga felt that her throat was very dry. Her voice couldn't help but tremble. Could it be that I didn't even let a monk go back then? What nonsense are you thinking? You and him were just spiritual friends. Shang tried to make his tone normal. He couldn't act like a jealous man. So that's how it is. No wonder I don't have any memories. Yun Jioga let out a sigh of relief. Luckily, she wasn't that crazy. You don't have any memories of him? Shang raised his eyebrows. Back then, Yun Jioga and Fan Yin had a very good relationship. Yun Jioga would rather tell Fan Yin many secrets than him. At that time, he was very jealous. No, not at all. Yun Jioga shook her head. She had a lot of messy memories in her head. There were countless handsome men, but she didn't see a bald one. If you don't, then forget it. Shang revealed a smile. It was best if she didn't. He hated that Yun Jioga treated that guy differently. Let's talk about Yin Shirley. Do you think he's trustworthy? Compared to the bald Fan Yin, who was still hiding somewhere, Yun Jioga still felt that Yin Shirley was more important. Trustworthy. What he said just now was all true. Shang nodded. He had a good impression of Yin Shirley. He could tell that Yin Shirley was very sincere towards Yun Jioga. That's good. With him accompanying us to the treasure map secret realm, I'll be more confident. This way, Yun Jioga wouldn't have to worry about Chosun turning hostile. Yin Shirley, as the sect master of Yin Corp's sect, had been with Chosun for so many years. He believed that he would definitely have a way to deal with Cho Sr. Chapter 451. Yun Jioga returned to her cave abode and saw Jin Chuan standing in front of her cave abode. Seeing her return, that scowling face actually squeezed out a smile. Junior sister Yun. Senior brother Jin, why are you looking for me? Yun Jioga had a deep impression of Jin Chuan. As a righteous cultivator, he had been undercover in Yin Corp's sect for decades. This kind of character was indeed admirable. I have something to discuss with you. Is it convenient for you to come in? Jin Chuan's tone was very respectful. Yun Jioga opened the cave abode and welcomed Jin Chuan in. She hadn't returned for a long time. Although she had already set up a ventilation formation in the cave, the air was still a bit stuffy. Yun Jioga casually threw a few wind spells and invited Jin Chuan to sit. Junior sister Yun Jioga, no, I should call you Miss Yun Jioga. Jin Chuan smiled. What Yun Jioga? What is senior brother Jin Chuan talking about? I don't understand. Yun Jioga pretended to be dumb. Miss Yun, you don't need to pretend. Our young master personally sent me a message to tell me your identity. Jin Chuan stared closely at Yun Jioga. Who is your young master? Did he misunderstand something? Yun Jioga nonchalantly poured tea. Our young master is Purple Cloud Sect's Nangong Li, Miss Nangong Yu's nephew. When Jin Chuan said this, his heart sped up. So you are from Purple Cloud Sect. Although Yun Jioga already knew this news, she still felt a bit emotional seeing Jin Chuan personally admit it. She didn't know what day it was that everyone came to confess their identities to her. That's right. Miss Yun, when you and young master worked together to deal with bloodthirsty sect, young master always praised you. Before Jin Chuan finished, Yun Jioga interrupted, no need to say this nonsense. How do you know my identity? Young master hired someone to read his fortune. He said that a benefactor who can help us is about to appear. In addition, you suddenly turned back into a female, got close to Elder Chosun, and your name. Jin Chuan almost said that she stuck the name Yun Jioga on her forehead. Yes, I am Yun Jioga. Yun Jioga also felt that there was nothing to hide. Just tell me what you want. If you want to deal with the Corpse sect, then I can't agree. The Corpse sect was her best ally now. Lady Yun, you've misunderstood. Our Purple Cloud sect and the Yin Corpse sect do not interfere with each other's business. There is no enmity between us. Our young master only hopes that when you and Elder Chosun go to the treasure map's secret realm, you can bring him along. Jin Chuan said directly. If he wanted to die, he could have just jumped off Decapitation Cliff. Why would he need to travel so far? Yun Jioga raised his eyebrows. Even a middle-stage Oris core stage cultivator was trapped in that secret realm, yet Nangong Li, a foundation establishment stage cultivator, wanted to join in the fun. Who did he think he was? Miss Yun Jioga, you don't have to worry about the young master. He has his own ways to deal with it. You just need to help him leave a position. After the matter is done, our young master will definitely reward you handsomely. If you have any needs, you can also mention it. Jin Chuan was very sincere. This is a serious matter. I don't dare to agree so easily. How about this? I'll think about it for a few days before giving you an answer. Although Yun Jioga had a good impression of Nangong Li, going to the treasure map secret realm was not a small matter. She didn't dare to rashly agree. Miss Yun, Elder Chosun has always been ruthless. If our young master joins, it will only be beneficial to you. Jin Chuan wanted to persuade her again, but Yun Jioga didn't want to listen anymore. It's getting late, I'm tired, let's talk about it next time. Then I'll take my leave first. Jin Chuan now really regretted not building a good relationship with Yun Jioga back then. But who would have thought that a pretty boy who was restricted by a 1,000-year zombie would be his young master's friend, Yun Jioga? After Jin Chuan left, Yun Jioga then asked Zishang, what do you think Nangong Li has the confidence to enter the treasure map's secret realms safely? It seems like the Purple Cloud sect understands this treasure map's secret realm very well. Looking for Nangong Yu is just an excuse. Chosun was just a lone cultivator before. Even if he joined the Een Corps sect and became an elder, the Purple Cloud sect shouldn't be afraid of him. If the Purple Cloud sect's sect master really wants to bring his daughter back, there must be other ways, but they kept staying at Chosun's place and sent 2 disciples over to monitor. There must be something fishy. Zishang slowly analyzed. This matter is really getting more and more complicated. Do you think it has something to do with the catastrophe? In Yun Jioga's memory, the secret realm where she sealed the news of the catastrophe was very barren. It was really not worth it for these people to rush over one after another. It's very likely, before the Purple Cloud sect shows their sincerity, let's wait and see first. Zishang was very cautious. The more it was at a time like this, the more careful they had to be. Then I'll go into seclusion. It was just the right time to nurture the little phoenix in her dantian. In the following days, Yun Jioga went into seclusion, eating and sleeping. Chosun came to find her a few times, leaving a message saying that he wanted to discuss the treasure map's secret realm with her. He also vaguely revealed that the news was already known by the sect master. They had to bring the sect master with them this time. Yun Jioga directly told him to do as he saw fit. Chosun said that they would set off in 3 months, and asked her to prepare early. Following that, there were some messy messages. Little Fatty, Wolf Fong, Mo Jinyuan, Siyue and the others were all asking her for all kinds of information. Although they did not know about the existence of the treasure map's secret realm, the news of Yun Jioga being chosen by the sect master as a candidate still made them feel that something was amiss. Yun Jioga replied to all these messages with 4 words, no comment. 2 months later, Jin Chuan sent a letter saying that Nangong Li wanted to meet her. His sincerity is here. Yun Jioga pinched the communication talisman and placed it in front of Zishang. You can go and meet him. Zishang glanced at it. This Nangong Li was really calm. I hope he can really bring some useful information. During this period of time, Yun Jioga had been rummaging through her memories for clues about the treasure map's secret realm, but unfortunately, it was to no avail. In her previous life, she wanted to be pregnant with the son of life like a madman, and the relevant memories were all like this, completely useless. Zishang helped Yun Jioga reply to Jin Chuan, arranging to meet Nangong Li at midnight 2 days later at Ziyuan Market's Drunken Fragrance Brothel. Drunken Fragrance Brothel was a place in Ziyuan Market that specialized in selling spirit wine. It was filled with customers, and a private room had to be booked in advance. Yun Jioga arrived at Huang Songya's room on time, and saw that Nangong Li was already waiting there, and Bailey Moyun was actually accompanying him. Lady Yun, long time no see. Bailey Moyun still had a handsome appearance, smiling and showing his white teeth as he greeted Yun Jioga. Before Yun Jioga could reply, she saw a peach-red figure flying towards her. Chirp chirp chirp, chirp chirp chirp. A fist-sized small bird goose circled around Yun Jioga and chirped continuously, venting its longing for her. After not seeing her for a few years, Little Peach had grown several times in size, her fur was fluffy, and her small black eyes were rolling around. She was very cute. Little Eagle Goo also flew over, and after chirping at Yun Jioga arrogantly, it returned to its master Nangong Li's side. Seeing these two cute little things, Yun Jioga felt that the distance between her and them had shortened greatly. She went straight to the point and asked, "Nangong Li, you called Bailey Moyun over, are you bringing him along?" Chapter 452. Yes, Bailey Moyun will also go with us, so I need Lady Yun's help. Nangong Li nodded calmly. What makes you two Foundation Establishment Realm cultivators think that you won't be in danger when you enter the secret realm? If you don't tell me, I won't help. Yun Jioga sat in front of the two while Zi Shang sat in a corner. Lady Yun, it's like this. Our sect will give us defensive magic tools to protect ourselves. Bailey Moyun said with a smile. Who are you trying to fool? You want me to help with such insincerity? By the way, don't try to use my identity to threaten me. The sect leader of the corpse sect already knows my identity. Yun Jioga stroked Little Peach's fluffy feathers and poured a cherry pill to feed it. Xiao Tao swallowed the cherry pill and chirped at Bailey Moyun, Master is an idiot. You ingrate, I raised you for nothing. Bailey Moyun glared at his pet. Chirp chirp chirp. You are an idiot. Xiao Tao was not afraid of him. Lying in front of Lady Yun meant that he was an idiot. Yun Jioga, to tell you the truth, other than the keepsakes our elders gave us, we do have something to rely on. But this matter concerns the secret of our sect. Nangong Li wanted to say something but stopped. You are begging me now, not me. If you can't agree to my conditions, there is nothing else to say. Goodbye. Yun Jioga put down Xiao Tao with a cold expression and was about to leave. Chirp chirp chirp, don't go, sit for a while more. Xiao Tao circled around Yun Jioga and then went to Bailey Moyun's head. Chirp chirp chirp. Idiot idiot. Lady Yun, don't go. I will tell you, okay? Bailey Moyun immediately surrendered. They did not have many trump cards and did not know how much Yun Jioga knew about the treasure map's secret realm. If they lied and angered her, it would not be worth it, so they might as well tell her the truth. For the sake of Xiao Tao and Little Eagle, I will give you two another chance. Tell me, what is the secret? Yun Jioga sat down. Xiao Tao immediately flew to her side in a fawning manner. Even the Little Eagle Goo flew over. Yun Jioga fed them a few more cherry pills. Little Peach chirped and acted cute, and the atmosphere became much more relaxed. Bailey Moyun heaved a sigh of relief. However, he did not immediately reveal the secret. Instead, he looked around and asked, Where is your expert bodyguard, Yi Zi? It's just that it's not convenient for me to show my face. Yun Jioga raised his head and looked at the left corner. Zi Shang was deep in thought the moment he came in. No one knew what he was thinking, and he didn't care about their conversation at all. The 1,000-year living corpse you saw in the Een Corpse sect was him, right? Bailey Moyun said confidently. Yun Jioga was not afraid to admit it. Amazing, he even deceived the people of the Een Corpse sect. Bailey Moyun was truly impressed. The Een Corpse sect was a large demonic sect. To be able to deceive those old monsters meant that this expert was even more powerful than those old monsters. Am I the one asking you now, or are you the one asking me? My time is very precious, I don't have time to talk nonsense with you here. Yun Jioga's attitude was amiable because of these two little goo. If it were someone else, she wouldn't even stay a second longer. Long time no see. I'm just worried about you. Bailey Moyun smiled shamelessly, then said seriously, regarding the treasure map and the secret realm, we, the Limitless Sword Pavilion, don't know much. However, the sect once left a rule saying that there is a big secret in the secret realm that concerns all living beings in the world. As long as there is a clue about that place, We must investigate it at all costs. Then? Yun Jyoga's expression was very calm. Our Violet Cloud sect also has the same ancestral teachings. However, because my aunt, Nangong Yu, had once entered that secret plane, we received more information than them. That secret plane is extremely mysterious. The entrance is also known as the Cursed Land. The higher one's cultivation, the stronger the curse. Nangong Li followed up. Cursed Land? Yun Jyoga frowned. Just hearing about it made her uncomfortable. Yes, and the more people in the team, the stronger the backlash. Ant, Cho Shan, and Cho Sen were all in the middle stage of the Gold Core realm. After Cho Shan escaped, Cho Sen continued to stay by Ant's side, so they suffered the most from the backlash. Nangong Li sighed. This conclusion was obtained at the cost of Ant's life. I see. Yun Jyoga nodded. Suddenly, some images flashed through her mind. A land of death. A boundless land of death. Not a single blade of grass grew. All the demonic beasts were dead. It was a despairing sight. Miss Yun, what's wrong? Bailey Moyun noticed that Yun Jyoga's expression was not right. Nothing. Yun Jyoga pressed her swollen head, and the images disappeared. Headache. Zi Shang finally came back to his senses. He came behind Yun Jyoga and pressed her temples. Some strange images suddenly appeared. I'll tell you when we get back. After Yun Jyoga sent a voice transmission to Zi Shang, she looked up at Nangong Li and Bailey Moyun. Do you have any other news? That's all for now. Miss Yun, I sincerely hope that you can help us fight for a place. We will become your most loyal allies. Bailey Moyun looked at Yun Jyoga with the most sincere eyes. Then he secretly flicked Xiao Tao's butt. Chirp, 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 chirp. My master might be stupid, but he's a good person. Xiao Tao had followed Bailey Moyun for so many years, and she was still on his side. I'll help you think of a way now. I'll try my best to reply to you tomorrow. Yun Jyoga stood up and left Ziyun workshop with Zi Shang. What happened to you just now? Zi Shang appeared and pulled Yun Jyoga's hand. Just now, the image of a land of death suddenly appeared in my mind. Is this the situation of the catastrophe? Yun Jyoga's face was very pale. That kind of feeling was too despairing. Her whole body was cold. Even if the catastrophe is really descending, this is not your responsibility alone. Zi Shang hugged Yun Jyoga in his bosom. He had wanted to say this sentence for a long time. Even if she was the goddess, the noblest and most powerful woman in Blue Wave's continent, she shouldn't shoulder such a heavy responsibility on herself. Yun Jyoga smelled the fragrance of Zi Shang and felt his warm bosom. Her heart gradually sank. Nangong Li and others said that if we enter the secret realm together, the curse will be more difficult. At that time, we might have to separate. We'll talk about it when the time comes. Unless it was absolutely necessary, Zi Shang didn't want to leave Yun Jyoga's side. Then, let's go back and look for Yin Shirley first. Tell him that Nangong Li and Bailey Moyun also want to go and let him make arrangements. This matter was better left to Yin Shirley. However, since she knew that Yin Shirley was Fan Yin's subordinate, Yun Jyoga believed that Yin Shirley wouldn't refuse her request. After we settle the matter of Nangong Li and Bailey Moyun, we will continue to enter seclusion. Zi Shang also felt that there might be danger in the secret realm. He had to repair his demon body before they set off. That way, he could better protect Yun Jyoga. Chapter 453. The night was dark and there were no stars or moon. The Yin Corpse sect was silent. Yun Jyoga and Zi Shang quietly came to Yin Shirley's cave and called him out with a communication talisman. Aren't you in closed-door cultivation? Why are you looking for me so late at night? Yin Shirley looked at Yun Jyoga in surprise. I want to bring 2 people to the treasure map's secret realm. Yun Jyoga didn't hide anything from Yin Shirley and directly told him Nangong Li and Bailey Moyun's identities. After Yin Shirley heard this, he was silent for a moment before asking, Are you sure there's no problem with these 2? I'm not sure, but we have to bring anyone related to the treasure map's secret realm. They might be useful in the future. They have more information than we thought. Yun Jioga told him the information that Nangong Li revealed and finally said, "When the time comes, we might have to split up." "There's actually such a thing." Ian Shirley frowned and asked, "Then if we bring our own Ian corpses, does that count as a team?" "It shouldn't count." Yun Jioga shook his head. Ian corpses weren't living beings and were at most a kind of magic tool. They shouldn't be cursed. "When the time comes, I will recognize you as my master and enter the secret realm with you," Ian Shirley said solemnly. He had promised that powerful being that he would protect Yun Jioga. The secret realm was so dangerous, he couldn't let Yun Jioga act alone. Other Ian corpses might not have a problem, but it's hard to say for you. After all, you are no different from a human. Yun Jioga shook his head. Ian Shirley's face showed a hint of hesitation. He was special because he had the heart of the heaven and earth. If he took it out, don't say something stupid like taking out the heart of the heaven and earth. Normal Ian corpses are easy to find, but there is only one smart and capable sect master like you. Yun Jioga still needed Ian Shirley's help. "How about I help you find an obedient and useful Ian corpse?" Although Yun Jioga's words touched Ian Shirley, he still felt that he should do something. "No need, I have many treasures on hand. You just need to help me stabilize Cho Sen and arrange a place for Nangong Li and Bailey Moyun." There was only a month left until they set off. Even if Ian Shirley could help her find a powerful Ian corpse, she wouldn't have the time to tame and train it. "That's good. You must let me know if you need anything. I will satisfy all your needs." Ian Shirley was worried that Yun Jioga was a greedy fellow. But now, he felt that she was being too polite. She didn't ask for anything, and he didn't even have a chance to perform. "Don't worry, I don't treat you as an outsider. It's getting late, I'm leaving." Yun Jioga waved her hand and was about to leave when Zishang reminded her, "We have to go into closed-door cultivation when we get back. Let him contact Nangong Li and Bailey Moyun himself." He didn't want Yun Jioga to be distracted by these things. All right. Yun Jioga also felt that it was better to let Ian Shirley handle these matters. She sent a message to Nangong Li and Bailey Moyun and gave their communication talismans to Ian Shirley before leaving. When he returned to his cave abode, Zishang carefully set up various defensive formations, as if he was afraid of being attacked. "Aren't you being too careful?" Even if someone really wanted to attack, Ian Shirley would be the first to stop them. "This month, I will be dual cultivating with you to restore my demon form. The commotion might be a little big. There's nothing wrong with being prepared." After Zishang set up the defensive formations, he started to set up the soundproofing formations. "Don't tell me you want us to lie on the bed for this month." Although Yun Jioga liked to dual cultivate with Zishang, lying on the bed for a month was too much. She wasn't a member of the Joyous Union sect. Even if she was from the Joyous Union sect, there was no reason for her to lie on the bed and cultivate every day. "Of course I have to lie on the bed." After Zishang set up the soundproofing formation, he looked at Yun Jioga. His purple eyes shimmered. "Originally, I thought I wouldn't have the chance to restore my demon form. However, ever since your god blood recovered, I realized that my demon heart has started to condense. Don't you want to help me?" Back then, Zishang had abandoned his physical body and transmigrated to this world. In the end, he had fused with a single-horned purple python. Although this single-horned purple python was a rare demon and had a very strong physical body, it was still a far cry from his previous dragon body. Now that he had the chance to restore his demon form, he naturally wouldn't miss such an opportunity. However, to restore his demon form, he needed to dual cultivate with Yun Jioga. By borrowing her power of God, he needed her cooperation. "Of course I want to help you." Ever since Yun Jioga regained her memories, her guilt towards Zishang grew heavier. Even if it was to climb a mountain of swords and plunge into a sea of flames, she wouldn't say a word, let alone dual cultivate on the bed. "Then let's sleep." Zishang had been waiting for this sentence. He picked up Yun Jioga and put her on the bed. The two of them took off their clothes and began dual cultivating. This time, Zishang wasn't as gentle and considerate as before. He kept teasing her until she didn't want it anymore before entering. Instead, he solemnly and seriously rubbed a few of her acupuncture points according to the rules of dual cultivation. After she got used to it, he directly entered. Next, it was time to return to one. Their spiritual powers were interconnected. Just like that, the two of them lay on the bed day and night. When they were thirsty, they drank spirit dew. When they were hungry, they ate fasting pills. The effects of their cultivation were simply amazing. Demon marks began to appear on Zishang's handsome face. In the past, his demon marks were purple-black, colorful like snake marks, and there was a short purple sharp horn on his head. This time, the demon marks began to change color, turning completely black. The snake marks began to elongate and change, like waves rolling down layer by layer, rippling with incomparable demonic light. The purple horn gradually disappeared and was replaced by a black horn that looked like that of a deer. It seemed to contain endless power and looked extremely ferocious. At the same time that Zishang changed, the little golden chick in Yunjioga's dantian was also changing. The golden fluff began to have luster, and the little tender mouth became a lot harder. The most important thing was that the eyes were clear and transparent, as if they could see everything in the world. Yunjioga tried to open her spiritual eyes, which were much better than before. She could even see the changes of the surrounding spiritual power clearly. When the two of them dual cultivated, a lot of extremely pure spiritual power flowed out, and all of it was secretly absorbed by the cute little baby. Xiao Xiao, eat more. This is all good stuff. The cute little baby gave all the pure spiritual power absorbed to the devilish fetus. Now, the devilish fetus was no longer like a baby tire. He now looked about a year old with big eyes, a raised nose, a small mouth, soft black hair, and fair skin. He looked about 70% similar to Yunjioga. Now, the devilish fetus could walk steadily. When it waved its hands, the black devilish chi was faintly discernible. It completely looked like a little devil. Fortunately, the demonic tripod itself was a demonic weapon, which complemented its devilish chi. If it was any other spiritual weapon, it would probably have been destroyed. Xiao Qiao swallowed the spiritual power sent by the cute little baby, and then began to meditate with her legs crossed. She couldn't wait to grow up and go out to protect her master. Under the influence of such a mood, her growth was also very fast, but she was still far behind Zishang. Chapter 454. In less than a month, the demon marks on Zishang's face had taken on the shape of a dragon. The antlers on his forehead looked hideous, and his aura grew fiercer and fiercer. Yunjioga and Zishang couldn't take it anymore. The little chick in her body didn't seem to change, but she felt something was off. She couldn't say what it was. Why don't we take a break? Yunjioga pushed at Zishang's chest. How long had they been cultivating? Her waist was about to break. This is the last time. Zishang could feel that his demon heart was close to completion. Just one last bit more. He kissed Yunjioga's arm, then pressed down. His passionate kiss enveloped her like a storm. Yunjioga felt like she was on a boat again. Tossing and turning, she felt like she was about to fly into the sky. In the end, Zishang's eyes turned red. His aura exploded, filling the entire cave with draconic energy. The small abode shook violently. If it wasn't for the soundproofing barrier and the defensive barrier, the abode would have collapsed. Yunjioga felt dizzy. She hurriedly wrapped her arms around Zishang's neck. Zishang grabbed her head and kissed her. A warm and violent aura entered her dantian. Yunjioga shivered as the little chick in her dantian burst into flames. Then, it reached her dantian and underwent a nirvanic rebirth. In the end, it transformed into a white egg inside of her. Zishang narrowed his eyes. The draconic energy finally condensed into a demon heart, beating in his chest. What's going on? Yunjioga almost kicked Zishang away. What? Zishang had just recovered his demon heart, and his eyes were still red. He didn't know what was going on. Look for yourself. Yunjioga patted her belly. Why is there an egg in there? Zishang looked at Yunjioga's belly in confusion. It was white, flat, and smooth. Open your demon eye and look inside. Yunjioga kicked Zishang angrily. This guy must have become stupid from cultivating. Zishang hurriedly opened his demon eye and saw a small white egg in Yunjioga's belly. It was only the size of a baby's fist, and it was especially beautiful and cute. He couldn't help but reach out to touch Yunjioga's belly. It was flat and it was still soft. "What the hell are you touching? What's going on?" Yunjioga was about to die from anger. Her little phoenix had turned into an egg, so how was she going to cultivate the divine blood in the future? "I don't know either. Can you try and see if your god's blood can still be used?" Zishang asked. "Let me try." Yunjioga stretched out his finger, and a golden flame appeared. Underneath it was the white bone fire, flickering with a faint light. Divine flame? Zishang's eyes lit up. This golden flame was unique to the goddess. Divine flame? Yunjioga only felt that this flame was very familiar, as if it had come from within her body. At this time, the thunder fire needle that had been kept in the storage bag all this time suddenly flew out. A faint golden light flashed behind it, and it circled around her like an obedient little bird. This needle doesn't look normal either. Previously, Yunjioga had only treated the thunder fire needle as an acupuncture tool, but now she realized that the thunder fire needle was as obedient as a child. It even sent a happy message to her heart. She casually waved her hand, and the needle turned into a beam of light that shuttled back and forth in the room, bringing with it bursts of golden light. It was incomparably beautiful. "Your thunder fire needle is finally alive." Zishang seemed to see the goddess standing on top of the clouds. Thousands of needles rained down like a meteor chasing after the sun, covering the entire land. "It seems that this egg is fine." Yunjioga could feel that the power of the divine blood in her body was very rich, even better than before. Could it be that the little phoenix has been reborn? Zishang also had no experience in this area. Maybe. Since it was fine, Yunjioga couldn't be bothered to think about it. Anyway, this little phoenix came out on its own. As long as the divine blood was still there, it was fine. "Let's go. Let's go out quickly. We are leaving tomorrow." They are all waiting anxiously. Yunjioga looked up. The communication talismans had filled up the space of their cave abode. She randomly picked one and all of them were asking when she would come out of seclusion. Zishang's demon heart had been completely cultivated, and he could restore his demon body at any time. At this moment, the aura on his body was even more restrained and valiant. He could completely conceal his aura without the need for invisibility. When he didn't want to, he wouldn't attract anyone's attention. "I will send them a message and ask where they are gathering." Yunjioga waved a communication talisman and sent it out. Shirley quickly replied with a message. They were gathering at the spider workshop, which was the furthest away from Corp's sect. Because this matter was very secretive, they had to hide it from others. Even Jin Yanwei from Enemy Mountain didn't know about it. Yunjioga packed up everything and went to the spider workshop with Zishang. The spider workshop was opened by a golden core stage spider demon beast and a rogue cultivator. This workshop was made from its own spider silk, and it was filled with white spider's silk everywhere. Yunjioga had just entered the workshop when the white spider's silk floated over. It looked like it was trying to entangle with her. Zishang stretched out his finger and flicked it. The white spider's silk immediately started burning. "Is someone following us?" Yunjioga could also feel that someone was looking at her. "This spider silk is used for surveillance, but it's fine. It's just a small spider." Zishang really didn't care about this golden core stage small spider. Yunjioga was about to ask Shirley about the situation when a small white spider the size of a thumb floated in front of her. It was carrying a yellow communication talisman on its back. Shirley's voice automatically floated out. "You've arrived? Your news came quickly?" Yunjioga grabbed the small spider that was flashing with white light and played with it in her hand. The small spider squeaked. It was frightened by Zishang's gaze and obediently lay in Yunjioga's hand, not daring to move. "The golden core stage spider in the spider workshop is my friend. We are waiting for you at the Drunken Fragrance Tower. Hurry over," Shirley said. "All right, then we will go over now." Yunjioga nodded and flicked the small spider away. As long as this golden core stage spider wasn't an enemy, it was fine. The drunken fragrance tower is over there. Zishang scanned with his divine sense and had already figured out the situation in the spider workshop. Yun Jioga followed Zishang into the drunken fragrance tower and saw Yin Shirley sitting in the middle. On his right was Bailey Moyun and Nangong Li. On the left was Cho Sen and a beautiful woman in red. The woman's black hair was combed into small braids. Her eyelids were faintly purple and her lips were as red as blood. She was extremely beautiful. When she saw Zishang and Yun Jioga enter, her eyeballs stuck to Zishang like spider silk. Chapter 455. You're here. Let me introduce you. This is my friend Chun Sanyang. This is our Yin Corp's sex disciple, Yun Jioga, and her guard, Yizi. Yin Shirley introduced them politely. Logically speaking, he had previously announced that Yun Jioga was the sect head candidate, so he should be his disciple. However, because the almighty beings held Yun Jioga in high regard, he did not dare to take advantage of him. I'm Lady Chun Sanyang. Greetings, Senior Yizi. I'll have to trouble Senior to take care of me during this trip to the mystic realm. Chun Sanyang gracefully rose to her feet and bowed. In the blink of an eye, a series of amorous eyes flew toward Zishang. She did not take Yun Jioga seriously at all. In her heart, Yun Jioga was just an ordinary foundation establishment cultivator. How could he compare to Zishang, the great demon? Even though Yin Shirley had said that Zishang was Yun Jioga's bodyguard, she had treated it as a cover-up. Zishang didn't even spare a glance at the little spider that thought too highly of herself and asked Yin Shirley directly. Just these people? That's right. Cho Sen said that the entrance to the mystic realm is at the 100,000 mountains. Chun Sanyang stayed there for a period of time. With her help, it will be much better. Yin Shirley explained this to Yun Jioga. As for Chun Sanyang's disrespectful attitude towards Yun Jioga, he did not deliberately correct her. The mighty figure asked him to protect Yun Jioga, so the more inconspicuous Yun Jioga was, the better. Zishang had the same thought, which was why he chose to give himself up instead of hiding himself. On the other hand, when Yun Jioga heard the words 100,000 mountains, he thought of Ju Nichen and Luo Tian. He wondered if he would be able to see them this time. After all these years, they should have improved a lot. If we have time, we'll go find them. Zishang knew what Yun Jioga was thinking. All right. Yun Jioga nodded. Ahem. Yin Shirley faked a few coughs and looked at Zishang respectfully. Senior, can we set off now? His attitude made it clear that Zishang was the leader of this operation. Let's go. Zishang nodded coldly, turned around and walked out. Yin Shirley took a step back and stood on Zishang's left. Chun Ernyang rushed to stand on Zishang's right side. Cho Sen had no choice but to follow beside Yin Shirley. Because of this, Yun Jioga could only be reduced to walking with Bailey Moyun and Nangong Li. After all, they were all foundation establishment cultivators. Yun Jioga did not mind. She was about to ask Bailey Moyun something, so she secretly sent a voice transmission. I say, aren't you afraid of being killed by directly revealing your identities? The two of them were really bold, openly following the Yin Corp's sect in and out like this. Were they not afraid of being misunderstood as the Purple Cloud sect and the Everlasting Sword Pavilion's betrayal? At the start, I was a little worried. Who would have thought that sect master Yin Shirley would be such a good person? Bailey Moyun and Nangong Li originally wanted to pretend to be Yin Shirley's bodyguards, but Yin Shirley said there was no need. They were all on the same side, and there was no need to hide. His attitude was quite sincere. What about Cho Sen? Yun Jioga glanced at Nangong Li. This guy and Cho Sen still had a head full of lawsuits. He wondered how they were doing now. However, what she wanted to know the most was whether Bailey Moyun knew about the relationship between Cho Sen and the Nangong family. I don't know. Cho Sen didn't even look at us from start to finish. However, he probably won't do anything to us. Bailey Moyun shrugged. When Yun Jioga heard this, she guessed that Bailey Moyun definitely knew something. She could not help but ask, did Nangong Li tell you about Nangong Yu? What about Aunt Yu? Why don't I know about it? Bailey Moyun feigned ignorance. Stop pretending. I already know about Nangongyu. I've even seen her before. Yun Jioga sneered. What did you say? Bailey Moyun blurted out. In Shirley, Cho Sen, and the others all turned to look at him. Nangong Li also looked over coldly. Oh, nothing. Bailey Moyun laughed awkwardly. He patted his spirit beast pouch and said, I'm chatting with my spirit pet. Chirp chirp chirp. Xiao Tao's fluffy bird head popped out of the spirit beast pouch. It glanced sideways at its stupid master. It was the scapegoat again. Later, we will first use our flying artifact to leave the In Seoul mountain range. Then, we will take a flying ship to the 100,000 mountains. In Shirley looked at Bailey Moyun with a hint of warning. They were a few thousand miles away from the 100,000 mountains. Hence, In Shirley had specially brought a small flying ship over. Yes. It's my fault. I will definitely pay attention. Bailey Moyun immediately apologized. Let's go. Zi Shang continued to walk forward. However, although he was walking in front, all his attention was on Yun Jioga. He knew the content of her conversation with Bailey Moyun like the back of his hand. Hence, he was not flustered. I say, why are you so excited? You want to follow us to the mystic realm with your unstable personality? Be careful not to drag us down. Yun Jioga looked down on Bailey Moyun mercilessly. Just now, you said that you saw Aunt Nangongyu. How is that possible? She has been missing for many years. Bailey Moyun and Nangong Li grew up together. He was very close to Nangongyu. I found a coffin in Cho Sen's forbidden ground. Nangongyu's body was inside. It has been well preserved all these years. Even her cultivation did not drop. Yun Jioga truly admired Cho Sen's deep love for Nangongyu. Aunt Yu is indeed with Cho's senior. Bailey Moyun had also heard some rumors about this. Don't pretend. I don't believe that the Purple Cloud sect does not know of Nangongyu's whereabouts. Your Limitless Sword Pavilion is not inferior to the Purple Cloud sect. They have so much information about the mystic realm. Do you believe that you have an ancestral teaching that it has nothing to do with Nangongyu? Yun Jioga felt that the Purple Cloud sect definitely had more information about the mystic realm. However, Nangong Li seemed to be a tight-lipped person. Hence, she decided to think of a solution from Bailey Moyun. No wonder. Bailey Moyun furrowed his brows and pondered. I have quite a lot of information here as well. Why don't you use the Purple Cloud sect's information to exchange for it? I'm only doing this for Xiaotao's sake. Yun Jioga continued to flirt with Bailey Moyun. Lady Yun, Ali and I are friends who grew up together. I will not betray him. Bailey Moyun refused decisively. I am not going to deal with the Purple Cloud sect. Why would you betray him? We are preparing to enter the mystic realm. I have helped you so much, but you are still hiding the information you have. If that is the case, then forget it. Let's see who is begging who when the time comes. Yun Jioga rolled her eyes. Lady Yun, don't be angry. That is not what I mean. Let me think about it. Bailey Moyun was very clear that the two of them could follow the In Corpse sect so openly because of Yun Jioga. They really did not dare to offend her. Chapter 456. If that's not what you mean, then what do you mean? I'll tell you something else. I have a way to summon Nangongyu's soul. It depends on your sincerity. Yun Jioga threw out another bait. Really? Bailey Moyun was surprised at first, but then felt something was wrong. Then why don't you tell Ali that Aunt Yu is from the Purple Cloud sect? If you want benefits, you should go to him. I'll give you this favor, then you sell it to the Nangong family. I'll be able to kill two birds with one stone. Just tell me if you're willing. Yun Jioga transmitted his voice over until his head hurt. This Bailey Moyun was still dilly-dallying like this. How annoying. Bailey Moyun did not say anything. Although he was not a meticulous person, he was still a true core disciple of the sect. He would think twice when he encountered important matters. At this moment, Zi Shang suddenly transmitted to Yun Jioga. Why are you so interested in the Nangong family? Because I suddenly remembered something. Do you remember when we followed Siyue? Didn't Nangong Li transform into Wanli Mingxian after he left? Yun Jyoga still had a deep impression of that transformation technique. She was a master of disguise herself, but even after eating the illusion grass and transforming into a man, she still spoke and acted in the same manner as before. However, Nangong Li was able to completely transform into another person, which made her feel that it was very strange. That was why she wanted to inquire about it. I'll find a chance to ask Nangong Li. Zishang planned to use his demon eye to get all the information Yun Jyoga wanted to know. There's no need for that. If we can find out, we'll do it. If not, then forget it. Going to the mystic realm is more important. Both Nangong Li and Wanli Mingxian were friends with Yun Jyoga. She did not want to make things too awkward. Sure. Nangong Li was only a foundation establishment cultivator. Zishang could crush him with one finger. Yun Jyoga was happy. Just as Yun Jyoga and Zishang were transmitting, Bailey Moyun was also discussing with Nangong Li. Lady Yun wants to exchange information about your Purple Cloud sect with me. Why would she do that? Nangong Li's expression did not change, but he was extremely puzzled. I don't know. Do you think we should give her some information to deal with it? Bailey Moyun left the decision in Nangong Li's hands. He didn't want to be estranged from his best friend after a trip to the mystic realm. Give it to her. Just tell her that our Purple Cloud sect indeed knows that Aunt is with Cho Senator. The reason why we didn't bring her body back was because we were afraid of alerting the enemy. After all, Cho Sen is the only one who came out of the secret realm alive. We still have to hope that he can go in again. Although Nangong Li was very dissatisfied with the sect's method of using his aunt as bait to entice Cho Sen to work hard, his words didn't carry much weight and he couldn't change the sect's decision. All right, I understand. Bailey Moyun received Nangong Li's approval and decisively sent a voice transmission to Yun Jyoga. All right, I'll trade with you. Actually, the Purple Cloud sect intentionally placed Aunt Yu's corpse with Cho Senator. Their goal was to make use of him. I don't think so. Yun Jyoga looked straight ahead as he followed behind the crowd. His voice transmission to Bailey Moyun was full of sarcasm. You and Nangong Li discussed for half a day and came up with such information to fool me. You're too insincere. Don't expect me to help you in the future. Lady Yun, I'm not from the Purple Cloud sect. It's too difficult for me to ask for information from them. If you want information from the Limitless Sword Pavilion, I guarantee that I'll even get the Pavilion Master's sword manual for you. The Pavilion Master of the Limitless Sword Pavilion was known as the Formless Sword. The sword manual was a blank stone that contained his sword intent. Every member of the Limitless Sword Pavilion held one in their hand. Bailey Moyun had a few of them in his storage pouch. He often used them as favors and gained a lot of face. I'm not interested in your Limitless Sword Pavilion. Since you and Nangong Li are so close, you must have some guesses about Nangong Yu's matter. Yun Jyoga's soft approach didn't work, so he directly used hard tactics. I'll give you one last chance. If you can't give me information that satisfies me, we'll part ways. You guys can wait and see when we get to the mystic realm. Lady Yun, don't give me face. Do you really want Xiao Tao and Xiao Ying to lose their master? Bailey Moyun begged pitifully. It's easy to get cultivators, but it's hard to get good gu. You don't have to worry about where they go. At most, you can just let them be masterless wild gu. That way, they'll have more freedom. Seeing Yun Jyoga's resolute attitude, Bailey Moyun was a little afraid. He glanced at the 4 golden core cultivators in front and Zishang in the middle. After thinking for a while, he finally decided to give Yun Jyoga some useful information. Actually, I've always suspected that a part of Aunt Yu's soul might have returned to the Purple Cloud sect. Really? This information was completely out of Yun Jyoga's expectations. A part of Nangong Yu's soul had actually returned to the Purple Cloud sect. Then why did the Purple Cloud sect hide it and not look for Chosen? Whether it was a physical body without a soul or a soul without a physical body, both were extremely dangerous. If Nangong Yu's soul could return to her physical body, it could more or less serve as a mutual nourishment. It was better than running around naked. It's just my guess, Bailey Moyun hurriedly explained. All these years, the old monsters of the Limitless Sword Pavilion had been paying a lot of attention to the Purple Cloud sect. However, even Bailey Moyun did not know the specific reason. Your conjecture is very reasonable. Do you think Nangong Li brought Nangong Yu's soul with him? If he could summon Nangong Yu's soul and ask her, many problems would be easily solved. Miss Yun, don't be rash. I'm just guessing. If Ali finds out I'm dead. Bailey Moyun regretted that he had spoken too quickly. It would be over if he brought disaster to Ali. Don't worry, I'm just asking. If I really wanted to do anything, would the two of you still be standing here? Yun Jioga still felt like a friend to Bailey Moyun and Nangong Li. Otherwise, she would have directly tied them up and interrogated them. I know Miss Yun is loyal. Otherwise, the two of us would not have dared to follow you. Bailey Moyun hurriedly tried to curry favor. However, your sect is really strange. You actually sent 2 Foundation establishment cultivators. No matter what, you should have at least sent a golden core cultivator. Yun Jioga continued to ask. Forget it, I won't hide it from you. Actually, our sect did not only send 2 Foundation establishment cultivators. We also sent a few golden core cultivators to follow the Heavenly Fragrance sect and the Danyang sect. The 7-Ask Pavilion and the Limitless sect entered the Mystic Realm through another route. As for which route, I don't know. Bailey Moyun started to reveal his secret again. However, Yun Jioga would find out about this sooner or later. There was no need to hide it. Yun Jioga was shocked. The 6 major sects had all gone. What about the remaining 4 sects of the Devil sect? Moreover, apart from this treasure map, what other barriers could they use to enter the Mystic Realm? Things were getting more and more complicated. Chapter 457. Don't think so much, just take care of yourself. Zishang transmitted his voice over. Oh. Yun Jioga came back to her senses and realized that she was thinking too much. She was going to the Mystic Realm to find her old subordinate, Li Wei, and the thing that was sealed in the Mystic Realm, not to fight with the demonic sections. She only needed to look after Nangong Li and that slut. Yun Jioga looked at Chun Sanyang's swaying waist and her posture of wanting to stick to Yun Jioga. She felt like she was going blind. I say, aren't you worried that Senior Yi Zi will be seduced by this Chun Sanyang? Bailey Moyun winked at Yun Jioga. Why, do you also think this Chun Sanyang is charming? Yun Jioga asked humbly. To be honest, although she had seen countless men in her previous life, and each of them was the best of the best, those men were forced to submit to her because of her power. Most of them were dedicated, so she really didn't feel that she had any charm. Such a beautiful female demon, any male cultivator would want to have some fun with her. Not only can you improve your cultivation, but you don't have to take responsibility. Don't you demonic sects like this kind of casual marriage? Bailey Moyun chuckled. In the eyes of the righteous, demonic sects did whatever they wanted, killed whenever they wanted, slept whenever they wanted, and had no morals or shame. We are Een Corp's sect, not the Joyous Union sect. Besides, appetite and lust are human nature. Demonic sects aren't the only ones who want casual marriage. I see that you are quite interested in it. Do you want me to help you? Chun Sanyang will definitely be interested in a fresh meat like you. If you sacrifice your beauty, you might even be able to rope in a backer. Yun Jioga glanced at Bailey Moyun. Bailey Moyun and Nangong Li were both young, charming, and extraordinarily handsome male cultivators. They were indeed in line with the public standards. Sigh, she is a gold core demonic cultivator. Why would she be interested in 2 brats like us? Looking at Chun Sanyang's flirting, Senior Yi Zi is at least in the late gold core stage. Bailey Moyun probed. This has nothing to do with cultivation, and this has nothing to do with charm. As Yun Jioga spoke, he secretly sent a voice transmission to Zishang. Don't keep that spider spirit hanging, hurry up and cut off this rotten peach blossom. Only by cutting off the spider spirit's thoughts would she be able to turn her attention to Bailey Moyun and Nangong Li, the 2 fresh meat. At that time, in order to protect their chastity, it would be hard for them not to rely on themselves. Sure. Zishang smiled. No one knew what he had done to Chun Sanyang. Suddenly, Chun Sanyang's face turned deathly pale. She silently took 3 steps away from Zishang. She looked at him as if she had seen a ferocious beast. What's wrong with Madame Chun? Why does she look so pale? Bailey Moyun, who was secretly observing the situation, immediately sent a voice transmission to Yun Jioga. Perhaps she realized that Yi Zi's bone was too hard for her to chew. Yun Jioga chuckled to himself. With Zi Shang's arrogant temperament, it would be strange if he took a fancy to a little spider like Chun Sanyang. Chun Sanyang quickly returned to normal, but she didn't dare to look at Zi Shang anymore. Instead, she turned around and floated over to Bailey Moyun and Nangong Li. Nangong Li was still cold and arrogant. He didn't even look at Chun Sanyang. Bailey Moyun happened to meet Chun Sanyang's gaze. He immediately felt as if he had fallen into a spider's hole. His scalp went numb and he really wanted to shout for help. At this moment, Ian Shirley took out a red date stone from his storage bag and said, "All right, we have already left the Ian Seoul mountain range. Let's get on the flying ship." The small date stone was carved into the shape of a flying ship. It looked very lifelike. Even the sails were swaying. Ian Shirley channeled his spiritual power into it. The date stone grew in the wind and immediately turned into a small flying ship. The red sails were fluttering in the wind. "Senior, please." Ian Shirley let Zi Shang go first. Zi Shang's figure moved and carried Yun Jioga onto the ship. Cho Sen and Chun Sanyang followed. Next was Bailey Moyun and Nangong. Ian Shirley was the last to board the ship. Although this small flying ship wasn't very big, it had everything. There were even a few attack turrets on the body of the ship. Its flying speed was also very fast. This kind of flying ship consumed a lot of spiritual power. However, Ian Shirley had been the sect leader of the Ian Corpse sect for so many years. He was a living corpse and didn't need spirit stones to cultivate. Hence, he had accumulated a lot of spirit stones that could be used. It will take 2 days to fly to the 100,000 mountains. All of you can meditate in your own houses. This is the house entry token. Ian Shirley gave out tokens to everyone. The Golden Core cultivators each had a room. Yun Jioga, who was a woman, also had a room. Bailey Moyun and Nangong Li shared a room. Yun Jioga took the token and entered the room. The space inside was very small and the furnishings were very simple. The defensive formation was also very weak. However, it was still considered not bad. Yun Jioga sat cross-legged on the bed. As she regulated her breathing, she checked the movements of the little white egg in her dantian. The little white egg lay quietly on the high platform in her dantian. As Yun Jioga breathed gently, she felt a sense of intimacy. Yun Jioga couldn't help but rub her stomach. There was a feeling of joy and uneasiness in her heart. It was very complicated, but she couldn't tell what was going on. "What's wrong? Is your stomach uncomfortable?" Zi Shang walked through the door and pulled Yun Jioga into his arms. He placed his large hand on her stomach. "I don't know why, but I keep feeling uneasy. It's empty. It's as if my feet can't touch the ground." Ever since Yun Jioga recovered the memories of her previous life, she often had this feeling. Don't think too much. The catastrophe isn't for you alone. Even if the sky falls, I'll hold it up. Zi Shang patted Yun Jioga's stomach. "You don't have God's blood. How can you hold it up?" When the sky was about to fall, she had sacrificed herself to hold it up. "You only have God's blood now, but you don't have a God's body. You're no different from me." Zi Shang sighed. "Sometimes, I really hope that you haven't recovered your memories. It would be great if you were as carefree as before. How about I seal your memories?" Zi Shang looked into Yun Jioga's eyes very seriously. "Isn't that like burying one's head in the bell? I won't do such a stupid thing." "Alright, what did you say to Chun Sanyang just now? Why was she so scared?" Yun Jioga asked with interest. "Nothing much. I just put something in her mind so that she wouldn't dare to do anything to me." Zi Shang said lightly. He just put a puppet rune in Chun Sanyang's mind so that Chun Sanyang wouldn't dare to do anything to him. And at a critical moment, he could connect Chun Sanyang to a puppet to protect Yun Jioga. But there was no need to let Yun Jioga know about this. "I see." Yun Jioga didn't think much about it. She closed her eyes and yawned. She didn't know why, But ever since the little phoenix turned into an egg, she was very sleepy and wanted to sleep all day. Go to sleep. I'll wake you up when we get there. Zishang patted Yunjioga's back. You stay with me. Yunjioga hugged Zishang's waist and didn't let go. Okay, I'll stay with you. Zishang lay down with Yunjioga. After she fell asleep, his eyes stayed on her abdomen for a long time. That egg would eventually become their child, the child of life. No, it was impossible. Yunjioga tried her best in her previous life but couldn't succeed. How could she succeed so easily in this life? Zishang sighed and didn't dare to think about it anymore. He placed his palm on Yunjioga's dantian and focused on helping her regulate the qi in her meridians. Chapter 458. When Yunjioga woke up, Zishang was no longer there. A row of defensive talismans was pasted on the door, obviously left by Zishang. She stretched, pushed open the door and walked out. The flying ship stopped in the air. The milky white defensive barrier had already risen. Zishang and the rest were standing at the bow of the ship and looking down. Cho Sen and In Shirley had very serious expressions. Bailey Moyun and Nangong Li stood at the stern of the ship. When they saw Yunjioga come out, they waved at her. Come here, come here. What are you looking at? Yunjioga walked over and looked down. It was already dusk. The sun had already set halfway, leaving only the orange sunlight. The lush mountain range of the 100,000 mountains stretched endlessly, but the spiritual power was very thin. Occasionally, patches of gray or black miasma could be seen. It was indeed a holy land for raising venomous insects. I heard the seniors discussing that the entrance to the mystic realm was occupied by a group of Miao people, and they are discussing what to do. Bailey Moyun pointed to a piece of land in the east and said softly, Miao people? Yunjioga opened her spirit eye and looked carefully at the place Bailey Moyun was pointing at. She saw a large patch of black gas under the lush mountain range, but it looked different from the miasma. The 100,000 mountains is the territory of the Miao people. Although the 5 poison sect is not listed in the 5 demon sects, they are considered a mid-tier sect, and their strength is not to be underestimated. If they occupy the entrance to the mystic realm, it will be difficult for us to enter without anyone noticing. Bailey Moyun's face was full of worry. He originally thought that it would be smooth sailing on the ship of Incorp's sect, but he did not expect so many twists and turns. Sect Master will have a way to deal with it, we don't have to worry. Yunjioga stole a glance at Zishang. Zishang and the others should have discussed a solution and were walking towards them. Everyone get ready, we will find a place to land first, then go and investigate. In Shirley's words were mainly for Yunjioga to hear. Got it. Yunjioga gave Zishang a look, then returned to the house to pack up. Not long after, Zishang came in. What's going on with the entrance to the mystic realm? Does the 5 poison sect also have a treasure map? Yunjioga really did not understand, how could there be treasure maps everywhere? We still don't know if it's the 5 poison sects problem. Zishang spread his hand and a sheepskin scroll appeared before Yunjioga. You got it from Chosen? Yunjioga asked in surprise. Zishang nodded. He had asked In Shirley to get it for him. At first, Chosen was a little unwilling, but he did not say anything. Yunjioga took a closer look and found that the route on the treasure map was very simple. It directly indicated that the entrance was on Goddess Mountain. Chosen didn't say how to get in. Secret realms were all in another space. Finding the entrance was only the first step. The most important thing was to figure out how to enter. He said that the method of entering the mystic realm is different every time. Last time, they walked to the entrance and were sucked in by themselves. But I guess he's still hiding something. Zishang was thinking of finding a chance to use Demon Eye to get Chosen to spill the beans. He must be hiding something. Right, I forgot to tell you. Bailey Moyun suspects that a part of Nangong Yu's soul has returned to the Purple Cloud sect. How about we use this information to make an exchange with him? Yunjioga did not want to use violence against a problem that could be solved through peaceful negotiation. We can make use of this when the time is right. Zishang nodded. Using Demon Eye on a golden core cultivator required a lot of demonic power. It would be good to save it. We can go find Ju Nichen and Luo Tian to ask about the situation. I wonder if Fei Fei can find them. Yun Jioga summoned Fei Fei. The black and white butterfly danced around her. Life Chi and Death Chi alternated between its wings. Fei Fei, let's go down and find Lil, Red and the natal goo later, okay? Yun Jioga threw a cherry pill to it. No problem. Leave it to me. Fei Fei swallowed the cherry pill and promised sweetly. It's too conspicuous like this. I'll seal its reincarnation power first to prevent others from discovering it. If you want to remove the seal, you just have to feed it a drop of blood. Zishang raised his hand and pointed at Fei Fei. A purple light covered Fei Fei's body and sealed the life chi circulating in its wings. Its black and white wings also turned gray, making it look like a moth. Sob sob sob, it's too ugly. Fei Fei landed on Yun Jioga's shoulder sadly. It couldn't accept being so ugly. It's okay. It's just ugly for a few days. I'll help you remove the seal later. Yun Jioga patted Fei Fei's head and comforted it. Sister's blood is good stuff. You won't lose anything. All right. Fei Fei had to admit that its master's blood was delicious. Lady Yun, we're here. Bailey Moyun's shout came from the door. Hurry up and leave. Don't let Chun Sanyong see you. Yun Jioga pushed Zishang out and left the house as if nothing had happened. The flying ship landed on a small open space. The ancient trees above blocked the sunlight. It was very dark. Yun Jioga got off the flying ship and stood with Bailey Moyun and Nan Gongli. Zishang stood opposite her. In Shirley stood beside him. He waved his hand and kept the flying ship. He said, let's go to the entrance and see if the people from 5 Poison Sect have occupied the place. What do you think? Sure. Zishang nodded. I'll lead the way. Chun Sanyong stole a glance at Zishang. Chun Sanyong is the most familiar with this place. Following her will save us a lot of trouble. Although In Shirley did not know what had happened, he knew that Chun Sanyong was afraid of Zishang like a mouse seeing a cat. If Zishang wanted to target Chun Sanyong, he would be stuck in the middle and would not know what to do. That was why he wanted to put in a good word for Chun Sanyong. Let's go. Zishang did not say anything else. Chun Sanyong recognized Zishang's approval and was very excited. She took out a white ball the size of a fist from her storage bag and threw it on the ground. The white ball automatically rolled forward, leaving a white light to guide the group. Yun Jioga and the rest followed the white light. They did not encounter any danger along the way, nor did they encounter any miasma or poisonous gas. Soon, they arrived at Lady Goddess Mountain. Lady Goddess Mountain looked like a beautiful woman with her head lowered. At the foot of the mountain, there was a row of ramparts. They were all built with hard pine wood that was as tall as 2 people. On top of the ramparts, there were rows of people dressed in meow clothes patrolling. Every one of them had a colorful goo worm on their body. Looking up, there were many stilt buildings stacked on top of each other. The oil lamps were especially eye-catching in the dark night. It is indeed the 5 Poison Sect. Moreover, they are the elites of the sect. Chosun stood on a big tree and looked down. Although their Een Corpse sect was not afraid of the 5 Poison Sect, they had hidden this from the sect. If the sect master went back to mobilize troops, the entire demon sect would know the location of the mystic realm. At that time, everyone would definitely want a share of the loot. Chapter 459. Those wooden doors are filled with parasite eggs. If we don't have a special way to avoid them, we'll be devoured the moment we get close. Yun Jioga had been raising parasites for so long, he knew them like the back of his hand. There's no need for us to fight 5 Venoms head-on. Let's first ask their sect leader if he knows where the mystic realm is. If he knows, we'll use the sect's power to threaten them and get a share. If he doesn't know, we'll think of another way. Een Shirley was indeed a sect leader for so many years, he immediately thought of a solution. That's a good idea. Zishang agreed. Why don't I go find 5 Venom's sect leader with Een Shirley? I have some ties with him, Chun Sanyong suggested. Een Shirley and Chun Sanyong go find 5 Venom's sect leader. Cho Sen, Bailey Moyun, and Nangong Li stay here, Zishang said. Yes. In Shirley and Chun Sanyang answered in unison, then left the tree. Let's go. Zishang transmitted to Yun Jioga. To where? Yun Jioga didn't understand. To find Jun Yichen and the others. Zishang landed beside Yun Jioga from the top of the tree. What about them? Yun Jioga looked at Bailey Moyun and Nangong Li, who were standing on their own trees. Just leave them here to watch. Cho Sen won't do anything to them for Nangong Yu's sake. Zishang pulled Yun Jioga's hand and left. Cho Sen only glanced at them without saying anything. Zishang brought Yun Jioga about 5 kilometers away from Lady Mountain before saying, "Let Fei Fei out." Yun Jioga let Fei Fei out. The dusty little moth circled around her unhappily. It only became happy after eating 2 cherry pills. Go find Lil, Red and the natal parasite, Yun Jioga instructed. Fei Fei flapped its wings, flew up a little, then flew forward. Yun Jioga and Zishang followed closely behind Fei Fei. After about 5 kilometers, they realized something was wrong. Aren't we going to Lady Mountain? I feel that Lil, Red and the natal parasite are in that mountain. There seems to be something inside. I want to go in. Fei Fei flew up and down, wanting to rush in with Yun Jioga. Yun Jioga grabbed Fei Fei and looked at Zishang. Could it be that Jun Yichen and Luo Tian have joined the 5 Venom sect? I'm not sure. Let's wait for In Shirley to return first. However, if Jun Yichen and the others really joined the 5 Poison sect, it would be a good thing for us. Zishang trusted those 2 people. Yun Jioga nodded, but for some reason he felt that something was wrong. Fei Fei was still making a fuss about going to Goddess Mountain, but Yun Jioga directly stuffed it back into the spirit beast bag. Let's go find Cho Sen and the others first. Zishang brought Yun Jioga back to the tree where they had been monitoring the goddess. However, he discovered that Cho Sen, Bailey Moyun, Nangong Li, and the others had all disappeared. Where is he? Where did he go? Yun Jioga and the others had only been gone for less than 2 hours. Even if the 3 of them had something to do and had to leave, they should have sent them a communication talisman. I can't contact him. Zishang crushed the communication talisman in his hand and began to carefully examine the few trees they had been squatting on. Finally, he found a bit of transparent mucus on the bark of one of the trees. This is a hypnotic spirit-severing worm. They should have been captured by the 5 Poison sect. If it was only Nangong Li and Bailey Moyun who were captured, it would have been fine. But Cho Sen is a golden core cultivator. Even he was captured, and there was no sign of a fight. The enemy is too powerful. Only a nascent soul cultivator can capture a golden core cultivator without a trace. Zishang's expression was solemn. Although he had recovered his demon heart, it was still not easy to deal with a nascent soul cultivator. There are nascent soul cultivators in the 100,000 mountains? Yun Jioga was surprised. Didn't they say that nascent soul cultivators were either in seclusion or strolling in places with more spiritual power? This is the entrance to the mystic realm after all. There might be something special about it. However, if it's like this, I'm afraid In Shirley and the others are in danger. Zishang sent a voice transmission talisman to In Shirley. There was no reply. As expected, he had also been killed. Why don't we go to Goddess Mountain to take a look? Yun Jioga looked at the distant Goddess Mountain. She didn't know if it was her misconception, but she felt that the woman who was lowering her head seemed to be smiling. Zishang was about to draw a concealment talisman on Yun Jioga's body, but she stopped him. There's no need for you. Golden light flashed on Yun Jioga's body. Runes naturally appeared and she became invisible. Don't use divine power. Zishang frowned. Now was not the time to show off. It's fine if I draw divine power into my spiritual power and mix it. Yun Jioga felt that she was simply too smart. If she used spiritual power alone, she would only be a foundation establishment trash. However, if she used divine power, she would be able to reach golden core cultivation. Be careful. Zishang was still worried. Divine power was a unique power in the Blue Waves continent. If those people knew about it, it would cause great trouble. I know. Let's go. If we are late, they might be skinned and their bones torn apart. Yun Jioga pushed Zishang towards Goddess Mountain. The two of them stealthily passed through the wooden fort. Then, they hid in the shadows and passed through layer after layer of stilt buildings. Yun Jioga carefully sized up the people coming and going. They were all Miao people. They were wearing colorful clothes and there were all kinds of venomous insects on their shoulders and arms. However, the expression of these Miao people was somewhat sluggish. They didn't seem very smart. However, those venomous insects were very powerful. Each of them had their own specialties. If Yun Jioga hadn't used divine power to conceal herself, she might have been discovered very quickly. Did you find Jun Yichen and Luo Tian? Yun Jioga quietly asked. No, they are not here. Cho Sen and Nangong Li are also not here. Zishang shook his head. His divine sense had already swept through this stilt building. However, he didn't find any trace. Wait, let me ask Fei Fei. Yun Jioga secretly released Fei Fei. The gray little moth excitedly flapped its wings and shouted towards the summit of Goddess Mountain, there is good stuff there. Little red and life venomous insect are all there. On the summit of Goddess Mountain, there was a temple built with mountain rocks. The faint candlelight was very obvious in the dark night. However, it gave a feeling as if it was far away in the horizon. It seems Cho Sen and Nangong Li should have been captured and brought to that temple. Zishang shifted his gaze towards that temple. His divine sense also spread over there. Yun Jioga also opened his spirit eye and looked carefully. However, he discovered that there was a young girl inside that temple. She was nodding her head. As if she sensed someone was spying on her, she turned her head and looked towards Yun Jioga. She suddenly smiled sweetly and stretched out her hand as if she wanted to greet Yun Jioga. However, it also seemed as if she wanted to grab something. Chapter 460. Not good. Zishang suddenly grabbed Yun Jioga and turned to run out of the mountain. The two of them moved as fast as lightning and in less than 3 breaths of time, they had left the vicinity of Goddess Mountain. Yun Jioga turned back to look. Goddess Mountain was still unmoving and there were no changes. There is something spying on us in the temple. I have no way of getting close to her. Zishang's expression was serious. If they hadn't run fast, they would have had a big fight with that thing. Could it be that nascent soul cultivator? Yun Jioga felt uncomfortable just thinking about that hazy woman. Not sure. Before he understood the relationship between the temple and the 5 poison sect, he did not want to alert them. Why don't we capture someone to interrogate him? But I've taken a closer look just now. The people living in the stilt houses are all normal Miao people. They look dull and don't look like they know what's going on. Yun Jioga recalled the dull eyes of the Miao people. If it wasn't for the thick life energy on them, they would be no different from Yin corpses. Let's leave Goddess Mountain for now and go to the 5 poison sect. Yin Shirley's cultivation is higher than Cho Sen and the rest. If he is captured, he should be able to leave behind some clues. Zishang quickly made his decision. How do you know where the 5 poison sect is? Yun Jioga asked. I don't know, but I should know this. Zishang flipped his palm and Chun Sanyang's white ball appeared in his hand. When did you get it? Yun Jioga was shocked. Wasn't this Chun Sanyang's ball? She has 2, give me 1. Zishang threw the white ball on the ground and ordered, go find your master. The white ball rolled forward. Zishang grabbed Yun Jioga's hand and followed the white ball through many twists and turns. Finally, they arrived at an extraordinary tall building. There were 5 stone statues on both sides of the gray door. They were a scorpion, a centipede, a poisonous snake, a toad, and a spider. Follow me closely, don't touch their array. Zishang said softly. Yun Jioga opened his spiritual eye and found that the 5 poison sects array was also multicolored and covered the entire mountain. This array was much stronger than the one on Goddess Mountain. Zishang sent out a purple demonic aura to open up a path in front of him. Yun Jioga followed closely behind him, looking left and right from time to time. However, along the way, they did not find any trace of a single disciple. The entire 5 poison sect was like a graveyard. This is too strange. Yun Jioga leaned closer to Zishang. He was panicking. It's better if it's weird. Look around, there are still traces of people left behind. This means that there were people here just now, but they suddenly disappeared. Zishang waved his hand and shot out a cloud of purple mist. As expected, the smooth and flat ground showed signs of people walking around. Then where did they go? Could it be that the Empress Mountain has sent a message to capture us? Wouldn't we be walking right into their trap? Yun Jioga wanted to retreat. What's there to be afraid of? I was just about to catch the person who cast the net. Zishang wasn't afraid of traps, but of not having any clues. They had just entered Miaojiang, and everything was strange. If he did not figure it out, he would not dare to bring Yun Jioga into the mystic realm. All right. Yun Jioga thought about the whereabouts of Cho Sen and Jun Yichen's goo worms, and decided to take the risk. The 5 poison sects dark corridor was filled with the portraits of all sorts of poisonous creatures and Miao people. All of them were staring at Yun Jioga and Zishang, the 2 intruders. Yun Jioga realized that they were still at the same spot after walking a few rounds in the corridor. However, when he opened his spiritual eye, he could not see any traces of an array. Zishang muttered to himself for a moment, then took out Chun Sanyang's ball. The white ball landed on the ground and rolled outwards. However, it was bounced back by a wall. The white ball continued to roll towards that wall. Zishang kept the white ball and injected his demonic energy into it. The ball was ignited with a purple flame. Within the flame, a pair of small spider eyes could be seen. They were thin and long, and there were even countless of limbs growing out from the bottom. Go! Zishang threw the small blazing spider out. The small spider landed on the ground and fiercely crashed into the wall. With a loud bang, the wall collapsed and shattered into countless pieces. Behind the wall was a spacious and imposing hall. On the left and right were 2 rows of simple but imposing gray stone chairs. At the very top was a spacious throne, which was engraved with images of poisonous creatures. This was the hall where the 5 poison sect received their guests. After the small blazing spider jumped onto the second stone chair on the left, it turned back into the white ball. It seemed like Chun Sanyang had indeed been here. Yun Jioga opened his spiritual eye and saw that the hall was filled with all sorts of sculptures. They were all images of Miao people holding goo worms in their hands. It was indescribably strange. Zishang walked to the front of the throne and stretched out his hand to brush the surface of the chair. However, he did not leave any marks. Did you see anything? Yun Jioga walked to Zishang's side and asked. No. Zishang turned around and looked around. Suddenly, his eyebrows twitched. Yun Jioga looked over and realized that he was looking at a stone statue in the corner. Because of the lighting, its appearance was blurry. Yun Jioga opened his spiritual eye and took a closer look. He realized that it was a stone statue of a black spider. It was much bigger than the other stone statues. Moreover, there was a human face carved on the back of the spider. It was a frightened head. Because the expression was too exaggerated and distorted, Yun Jioga could not tell who it was. He could only vaguely tell that it was a woman. Zishang hooked his hand and the white ball jumped into his hand. Can you recognize who this is? Zishang said as he placed the white ball in front of the stone statue. The white ball swayed left and right. Then, it tried to stretch out a white thread and stuck it on the face of the stone statue. The white ball seemed to explode as countless white threads pounced over. Some of them were even dripping down like a woman crying. This stone statue is Chun Sanyang. Zishang quickly scanned the hall before pointing to the tallest stone statue in the middle. That is the 5 poison sects leader. Yun Jioga looked over. It was a tall and mighty stone statue of a middle-aged man. He had a spider on his head, a poisonous snake on his left hand, and a toad on his right. He was stepping on a scorpion and a centipede respectively. Are they dead? Yun Jioga wanted to touch the stone statue. However, he was stopped by Zishang. We are not sure what happened. Don't touch it. Then what do we do now? They had found them, but they had turned into stone statues that could not speak. There was nothing they could ask. I did not see In Shirley. It is possible that he escaped. Let's leave this place first. Zishang waved his hand and called the white ball back. The white ball left its owner unwillingly. Then, it slowly retracted the thread that was stuck on the stone statue. Yunjioga's sharp eyes noticed a gray flash at the end of the thread. He immediately stretched out his hand and sent the ball flying. Chapter 461. The white ball rolled on the ground. In an instant, the gray dot at the end of the ball immediately spread out, and the string ball immediately turned into a stone ball. Yunjioga pulled Zishang back a few steps. When he looked up, the wall was already shining with gray light and was approaching them. Let's go! Zishang grabbed Yunjioga and charged out, passing through the hole in the wall and arriving at the corridor. He found that the originally empty corridor was filled with stone statues. Roar, roar, roar. Those gray stone statues roared as they approached Yunjioga. Zishang stretched out his hand and condensed a spear made of demonic power, stabbing it. The stone statue instantly shattered but soon reformed. At the same time, the wall started to crumble as countless gray stone statue goo worms spewed out gray smoke. Yunjioga set up a defensive barrier that was infused with divine power, isolating the gray smoke. Zishang charged towards the door with an indomitable will, but the stone statues increased in number and squeezed together. He could not move an inch. The entire Five Venoms sect seemed to have awakened as more and more stone statues joined in. Zishang broke a pile of stone statues and was immediately drowned by another pile. It was impossible to fly and escape. The sky was already occupied by flying goo worms, covering the sky. In the hall behind him, the Five Venoms sect leader had also awakened and was roaring angrily and viciously. Follow me closely and charge out when the opportunity arises. Zishang saw that the situation was amiss and decided to use a big move. I got it. Yunjioga put on his flying thunder wings and stood behind Zishang, gathering his spirit energy. Zishang injected demonic power into his spear and shot towards the door. The violent demonic power tore all the obstacles it encountered into pieces. Yunjioga used this opening to escape the whirlpool and arrive near the door. With a cracking sound, the 5 poisonous creatures at the door started to revive and were about to pounce at Yunjioga. At this moment, a gray cold aura spewed out from the southeast corner and froze the 5 poisonous creatures. An ugly woman with white hair and black skin stood at the southeast corner and waved at Yunjioga. Yunjioga charged towards her without hesitation. Zishang, who was at the rear, swung his spear and shattered the pursuing stone statue before following Yunjioga. The 5 poisons, who had broken free from the cold aura, let out angry roars. After circling around the area once, they could only return to the entrance unwillingly. The entire Five Venoms sect returned to its initial silence. Are you all right? Zishang looked at Yunjioga nervously. I'm fine. Yunjioga shook his head and turned to look at the woman who had helped them. He was shocked. Yiyunji, why are you here? Why aren't you by Yiyu's side? This ugly woman with white hair and black skin was the living corpse Yiyunji. Yiyunji did not respond to Yunjioga's question. Instead, she turned around and continued to float forward. Yunjioga followed closely behind her and entered the dense forest. After a few turns, they came to a swamp where gray miasma filled the air. Yiyunji stood still at the edge of the swamp. Many Miao people's figures appeared on the surrounding trees, all holding black crossbows aimed at them. The purplish-black arrowheads glinted with poisonous light. Why have you come to the 5 Poison sect? A pretty girl with exquisite facial features appeared in front of Yunjioga, stepping on a colorful butterfly. She wore a red dress with circles of black patterns woven from goo silk. She wore a silver bull horn headdress on her head. Her cultivation level was at the early stage of foundation establishment. And who are you? Where did you get this living corpse? Yunjioga's expression turned even colder. Yiyunji had actually come out alone. Did something happen to Yiyu? Why, you recognize this living corpse? The pretty girl raised her eyebrows and asked. This is a gift from me to a friend. Yunjioga once had the chance to subdue Yiyunji. However, he had given up on it. So it was right to say that she had given it to Yiyu. Liar, How could this be a gift from you? Fire your arrows and take her down. The pretty girl's expression changed instantly. At her command, the Miao tribesmen who were lying in ambush shot out black arrows towards Yun Jioge. Zishang reached out to collect the arrows and shot them back at the Miao people. Plop plop plop. The Miao people all fell from the trees and fell unconscious. The pretty girl's expression changed drastically. She flipped her hand and took out a bronze corpse control bell. She shook it forcefully and then ordered Yi Yunji, capture them. Yi Yunji's body swayed but she did not move. Hurry! The pretty girl swayed even more violently. The bell rang and Yi Yunji's body kept swaying but she did not attack Yun Jioge according to her orders. The pretty girl was so angry that she almost smashed the corpse control bell. She stepped on the colorful butterfly beneath her feet and countless goo worms crawled out, surrounding the entire swamp. Yun Jioge flapped his thunderstorm wings and his figure flashed past the goo worms to appear in front of the pretty girl. The pretty girl pinched her fingers and the bullhead headdress flew up to fight with Yun Jioge. Yun Jioge used his evil saber to attack but was sent flying by the bullhead. You're only at the early stage of foundation establishment and you dare to fight me? The pretty girl sneered and wanted to take Yun Jioge down. As Yun Jioge dodged backwards, his fingers moved slightly. Thunderfire needles silently appeared and pierced into a few major acupoints on the girl's body. The pretty girl found that she had been hit and wanted to run, but she was already caught by Zishang who was waiting on the side. It's useless even if you kill me. The pretty girl angrily glared at Yun Jioge. I don't want to kill you, I just want to ask you where you got this corpse control bell and how you know how to control her. Yun Jioge took the corpse control bell from the pretty girl's hand and gently shook it. Yi Yunji floated to her side. How can you control her? The pretty girl's eyes popped out. This corpse control technique was something she had pestered her elder sister to obtain. Her elder sister gave her the corpse control bell to give her an extra layer of protection. But this Een corpse did not listen to her at all. As soon as it came out, it slipped away and didn't listen to her when it came back. I'm the one asking you now. Yun Jioge shook the bell again and Yi Yunji came over to hold the young girl down. Hey, ugly monster, be clear about who's with you. The young girl angrily roared at Yi Yunji. Yi Yunji did not move. Who are you calling ugly monster? Yun Jioge's anger came out. Yi Yunji was Yi Yu's elder sister, but she was actually being controlled by a little girl who didn't know the immensity of heaven and earth and was even calling her ugly monster. Even if Yi Yunji didn't have any self-awareness, she still couldn't accept this kind of insult. I'm not talking about you. The pretty girl did not have any thoughts of being a prisoner at all. She still had an expression of, you don't dare do anything to this old lady. Yun Jioge really wanted to beat her up, but he didn't dare act rashly before understanding her. What's your name? Zishang spoke. His indifferent eyes split into three and turned like a kaleidoscope. Chapter 462. The pretty girl looked at Zishang's demon eyes and couldn't help saying, I'm called Wuya, I'm the daughter of the 5 poison sects sect master. My big sister told me to bring some people to watch over the 5 poison sect. Who is your big sister and where did you get this Een corpse from? Zishang asked. My big sister is Wulan and this Een corpse is brother Yi Yu's. He is currently heavily injured and was sealed. Before he was sealed, he gave this Een corpse to my big sister to use. Wuya said. Yi Yu was injured? Yun Jioge was shocked and couldn't help asking, what kind of injury did Yi Yu receive? Is it serious? He was cursed and half his body turned into stone. He can only rely on the seal to alleviate it. Wuya continued to say. Why was he cursed and where did the power of the curse come from? Yun Jioge's eyes were fierce as he continued to ask. I don't know where the power of the curse came from. Big sister Wulan and I went out to do some things and when we came back, we found that father and the people had all turned into stone. It was brother Yi Yu who saved us, but he was also infected with the power of the curse. Wu Ya's voice was low and her face was filled with pain. Bring us to find Yi Yu. Zishang ordered. Wu Ya led the way. Zishang and Yun Jioge followed her through the swamp and after several turns, they arrived at a flat valley. The valley was like Goddess Mountain. It was surrounded by pine trees and there were several defensive arrays behind it. The valley was filled with stilt houses and there were many normal Miao people living in it. There were several black figures flying in the sky and the patrolling soldiers on them saw Wuya coming alone with two strangers. They immediately sounded the alarm. The entire valley was like boiling water. The normal Miao people all retreated into the caves. The Miao people with cultivation bases formed small teams and hid behind the buildings in the valley, ready to attack at any time. Call Wulan out. Yun Jioga's cold voice spread throughout the valley. Because of Wu Ya's attitude towards Yunji, she did not have any good feelings towards this Wulan that she had never met before. Not long after, a giant black eagle appeared in the sky above the valley. On top of it stood an early gold core stage, a valiant-looking woman. Her skin was the color of wheat, and her eyes were wild. Her hair was tied up high, and she was dressed in black men's clothing. She looked like a decisive woman. Why are you attacking my little sister? When Wu Lan saw the corpse control bell in Yun Jioga's hand and Yunji, who was holding onto Wu Lan, her expression became very serious. I am Yiyu's friend. It was your sister who attacked us first, Yun Jioga replied coldly. What proof do you have that you are Yiyu's friend? Black Orchid raised her slender eyebrows. Do you think this can prove it? Yun Jioga smirked and suddenly shook the corpse control bell. Yi Yunji let go of Wu Lan and disappeared from where she was like a ghost. She then appeared in front of Wu Lan, her fingers stabbing towards her chest like knives. Black Orchid raised her hand to block, but was invaded by Yi Yunji's cold chi. She hurriedly used her spiritual power to expel the cold air, and the black eagle beneath her opened its mouth to spit out several green wind blades towards Yi Yunji. Yun Jioga waved her hand, and Yi Yunji returned to her side. Is this proof enough? Yun Jioga asked calmly. It's enough, but I didn't know that Yiyu had this kind of friend. He's even more skilled at controlling this Een corpse than he is. Black Orchid's seemingly straightforward words were actually filled with probing. You don't know because you're not familiar enough with him. Yun Jioga gave a mocking smile. Miss, do you have some sort of misunderstanding towards me? Black Orchid knit her brows, not understanding how she had offended this person. You're thinking too much. I want to see you. Can you lead the way? Yun Jioga did not want to talk about Yi Yunji. Of course, but shouldn't you put my sister down first? Black Orchid sent the black eagle in front of Yun Jioga. There's no rush, let's see you first. Yun Jioga gave a fake smile. This Black Orchid did not care about Yi Yunji, who knew how she treated Yiyu. It seems like you really care about Yiyu, then come with me. Black Orchid did not look at her sister anymore, sending the black eagle flying into the valley. Yun Jioga took out the evil blade and stepped on it with Zishang. Yi Yunji carried Wu Ya and flew through the air, following beside them. Right, I haven't asked for your names yet. Black Orchid asked with a smile. My surname is Yun. Yun Jioga had no intention of introducing Zishang at all. So it's Miss Yun. Black Orchid did not ask any further. I heard that your Five Venoms sect has been cursed? Yun Jioga asked from the air. Yes, right now the valley is filled with the believers who went out with me on the mission as well as their families. Black Orchid answered without hesitation. Where did the curse come from? Yun Jioga asked again. I don't know. Black Orchid shook her head, her face full of worry. Yun Jioga was about to ask if it had anything to do with Goddess Mountain, but Zishang stopped her. There's no rush, we can talk about this after we see you. You're right. Yun Jioga exhaled, calmed down, and did not ask any further. Black Orchid's black eagle landed on the tallest three-story building in the valley. This building was built entirely out of black stone, exuding an icy aura from the inside out. This is an ice stone I dug out from the land of frost years ago. It has a special effect on suppressing the curse. Black Orchid got off the black eagle and walked towards the building. Yun Jioga followed behind her and saw black coffins covered in runes placed on the walls inside. The coffins had no lids, and he could clearly see the half-petrified Miao people inside. Some of the Miao people had already turned into stone statues, only their heads were still humanoid, their eyes tightly shut as they lay inside the stone coffins. These are all people who were cursed in the past. I sealed them here in hopes that one day I would find a way to remove the curse. Black Orchid's expression was pained. These were all her most loyal guards, but now they could only be sealed here. I've been to your 5 Venoms sect and saw the petrified cult master. His cultivation doesn't seem to have disappeared. Yun Jioga looked at Black Orchid. After those who are cursed are turned into stone statues, they will be controlled by a mysterious power to attack us. If we are injured by them, we will be infected. Father doesn't remember us at all now. Black Orchid's heart ached at the thought of her father. She let out a long sigh and pulled herself together, asking Yun Jioga, "What business does Miss Yun have in the 100,000 mountains? I rushed here because I received Yu's letter for help. Where is he now?" Yun Jioga spoke empty words. "He's on the top floor." Black Orchid clearly did not believe him, but she did not ask any further, and led Yun Jioga and the others up. The stone statues of the Miao people on the second floor were lighter than the first, and there were fewer of them. When they reached the third floor, they saw a black coffin placed right in the middle. Yu lay calmly in the coffin. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.